Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday weekly Ask Me Any Stock session. If you guys can see and hear me, I think some of you have already joined us and you're early today. Just have a good morning in the chat. Let me know if this is working, guys, before we get started today. All right, good morning as well. Let's see who is here. Hi, Emily. Good morning. Yeah, Tree. Hi. I think you join us every Friday as well. Good morning, Lenka. Andy. Hi as well. Roland, you're asking about root, right? Let's see if we can cover that later as well. Good morning, right? Ray, John, Ugly Duckling as well. Morning, guys. Welcome to our Friday weekly AMAS session. Thank you so much for being early and for joining us. For those of you who are regulars, joining us every single Friday, well, I think you know what this is, right? Essentially, the whole point of today's session is to cover the stocks that you guys are asking about, all right? And today we'll be looking at the US market. So every Friday we go live, right? Since the beginning of the year, right? And last Friday was Singapore. So today is back to US, and next Friday we'll be back to the Singapore market as well. So we'll do a quick market outlook as to what's been happening in the markets over the past few weeks. All right, what are the factors causing the market to go up or maybe go down? All right, and then we'll dive into the stocks, right? The US stocks, right, that you guys are looking at. So, if you are kind of like, holding on to any US stocks, thinking to buy any US stocks, looking to sell, don't know what to do, anything, right, to do with US stocks, you're in the right place, right? That's where we're pretty much going to give you a quick opinion on your US stocks based on the one good trend framework. All right, my strategy that I've been using for more than 10-15 years now, and also how we have a tool, I call it the One Good Trend Pro indicator, that just give us a quick opinion in seconds whether to buy, to sell, to do nothing. All right, that's what we'll do, what we'll use to analyze your US stocks as well. All right, so welcome. All right, let's see. Good morning, John, Manish. Hi, John as well, Chan SY, and good morning. Okay, so let's get started right now. All right, so my name is Joey Choy. All right, thank you so much for just joining me over here. My name is Joey, top tier MyZeal trader in Philips Securities. All right, and I've been doing this for the past 10-15 years now. My forte is mainly in stocks. And yeah, pretty much I'm focusing on technical analysis, whereby we use the charts, we look at the charts, and keep it simple. We use the tool to help us, and that's where we can do a quick analysis on any stocks, but on what to do. All right, so let's go to get started. So make sure you stay all the way to the end, guys, because at the end, right, that's where we will share with you. So me, Bervyn and Zee is here today, all right, and that's where we'll share with you guys 3 US stocks that you can put in your watch list for potentially more upside as well. All right, so make sure you stay all the way to the end, and that will be after going through your US stock. Now, let me just go to introduce my team member who is here with me today, right? Bervyn, right? Bervyn is here with me today, and Bervyn is one of the top brokers under me in Philips Securities, where we're all brokers, and he's I would say assisting me with our group coaching sessions, with our mentees, our one-on-one session as well, and also assisting our team's portfolio manager with the fund management business. And Bervyn, right, is also what we call a chartered financial analyst, right? A CFA chartered holder, right? So it's one of the highest qualification one can ever get in the banking and finance space. So let me pass on the mic to Bervyn. Maybe you share a little bit on himself today, Bervyn.
All right, thanks Joey for the introduction. Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome back to our weekly AMAS session. Today, of course, like Joey said, we are covering the US market. So I think the last 2 weeks or so, the US market has been a little bit choppy. All right, some of the shares have stabilized. I think some opportunities have opened up. To you guys from pulling back from prices pulling back from those recent highs, right? So I believe a lot of you all have questions about whether your stocks should you should buy, should sell, but to better give our opinion, Joey and Zee as well, I think you can give us a little bit of context. All right, so the more information that you are going to be able to provide us, all right, so rather than just say please review certain stock, if you are able to give us your context, you want to buy, you want to sell, you have bought, all right, or you are looking to accumulate, what price, all those useful information that I think we can also look into to actually give you a better insight. All right, so I think today, without much further ado, I'll pass the time back to Joey to cover or to introduce Zee as well.
All right, thank you so much, Bervyn. All right, so yeah, I think what Bervyn said makes sense as well, right? So make sure, guys, I think some of you are already typing in the name of the US stocks that you want a quick opinion on, and that's a good one, right? Good thing that you're doing it already. But give us some context, right? Give us some context. Like, are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? You bought it last week, last year? All right, what price, right? So that at least when we go through it, we can kind of tune our analysis a little bit to your context. I think that's so much more powerful rather than just one name there. I also don't know what you want to do with it. All right. Okay. Now let me just go to introduce another of my team member that is joining me today, and that would be Zee. All right, Zee is, I would say, an expert in anything to do with charts, right? Candlestick, price action, patterns. Why? Well, Zee is a chartered market technician, right? Very well versed in the entire One Good Trend strategy and also the One Good Trend Pro indicator that we'll be using later as well. And Zee, is also one of the top brokers under me in Philips Securities for more than 5 years now, right? Conducting our group coaching sessions, our one-on-one sessions with our mentees, and also assisting our team's portfolio manager as well. So let me just pass on the mic to Zee, maybe to share a little bit on herself.
All right, thanks, Joey. Hi, everyone. My name is Zee. Nice to see many familiar names here. So, like what Joey has mentioned, basically it just a summarize that, I actually am a big fan of charts. I like to look at charts and trends and things like that, whereby, the 1GT Pro indicator later on, whereby, for the 2 hours, you will actually see how easy we can actually use the indicator to help us with a quick opinion on the stock. And also, I was just looking through the comments, right? I think so far we have been doing this AMAS since, if I'm not wrong, I think since the start of the year, right, until now, and consecutively for every Friday. And I think what we are building here is a community, right? And I see that some of you guys are actually even helping each other out in terms of answering the questions, wait for confirmation, things like that. I think that is what makes us going, and that is what keeps us okay, every Friday we want to do this, right, to build this community and make sure everybody is actually learning at the same time together. So yeah, I think keep that going. I think that's really heartwarming for us to see as well. All right, so I'll pass the time back over to Joey to actually start off today's session.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, indeed. I was looking through some of the comments. I think some of you, maybe our graduates as well, you have access to the very same tools and you're kind of advising other audiences as well. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And, today, right, guys, I know this session is the Ask Me Any Stock session. But before we really get started, I want to share with you guys something that's happening, something big. Right, something big that's happening tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, and that would be what we call the One Good Trend Secrets book launch, right? So this is the book right over here, right? This is the book right over here, and just want to share with you guys that in case you've not been following me, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, 18 October, all right, 10 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m., right? For 6 hours, no break, maybe a 5 minutes break somewhere, right? But essentially, we'll be talking about this book, right? The contents, the secrets in this book right over here, One Good Trend Secrets. And I'll share with you guys about how you can get a copy as well, right? So make sure you join us, right? The link is right in the chat, right? The link is right in the chat. Team, just place the link in the chat, right? That's it, right? So we're going to click on the link. If you have not yet secured your spot, right? Make sure you do, all right? Make sure you do. We have a few hundred people already registering interest already. So, we only have limited number of copies for this book. So tomorrow we'll share all the information, right? So how to get a copy. And not only that, we share with you guys some secrets that are inside this book, right? We break it down for you step by step, a 7-step checklist, and how we actually follow a simple and repeatable process. All right. So make sure you join us, right? Make sure you join us. The link is right in the chat, right? And that's where we'll break it all down for you. So today we don't have time. Today is just pump, right? We just cover your stock. We don't have time to explain the whole strategy to you. All right. But tomorrow, that will be where it is all going on, right? One Good Trend Secrets book official launch, 18 October, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., right? So I'll see you guys tomorrow, right? So the link is right in the chat. Okay, very good. Now let's go back to today's session proper, right? Now, just a quick disclaimer like we do on every AMAS live session, right? Whatever that's being covered today, right, is just for education purposes only, right? So please do your own due diligence. I'm not really to ask you to buy or sell anything, right? Just showing you my One Good Trend framework, the tools that we're using, and you can decide if you want to follow or not as well, right? So we show you what we're doing, you control your own decisions, right? So please do a bit of a homework, do your own due diligence. All right. Okay. So let's get started right now and maybe cover what we call the markets, right? The markets. Just type of M for markets, guys. If you want me to cover very quickly the markets and more specifically the S&P 500 index. All right. Let me know. Type M for markets. Good morning, Damien. Shari, what are the moving averages you're using? We'll cover that later as well. Thank you so much, Shari. All right. Okay, let's see. Right, morning markets as well. M for markets. Okay, very good. Tesla as well. Good to see you here. John, Sadie. All right, a lot of familiar names, familiar faces. Well, let's go to talk about the markets right now. And today we are talking about the US. So why not let's cover the S&P 500 index, right? One of the most popular index that accounts for the top 500 companies in the US, right? And last night it closed at 6,629, right? So this is the S&P 500 index. So you can see, right? We have it right on the chart, and I've put up what we call the moving averages, right, from the 1GT Pro indicator. So I have these two, right, whereby we'll be using later to analyze your US stocks, and it keeps things simple for us. All right, pump, right? There we go. We can turn it on in terms of the moving averages, right? So I think just now who is asking about the moving averages, right? Shari, right? Well, we're using what we call the 100 days, the 200 days, and even the 20 days simple moving average, right? Just to give us a bit of an idea of the longer term trend and the short term trend. So I can turn it on, that's it. And you see that that's where it's on my chart. And also I can turn on the bullish and bearish signals in seconds. Pump, there we go. So any asset classes, this is not a stock, this is a market. This is a S&P 500 index, right? Any asset classes, even the market also can, right? Turn it on, you get an opinion in seconds, whether you get a bullish signal or you get a bearish signal. All right, I mean, if you get a bullish one, then okay, a bit more happy, but if you see a bearish one yesterday or last week, then maybe a bit more cautious, don't rush. Does it make sense? All right, so that's how we use these two. So this is the S&P 500. You can see that I've already turned on the signals in a few seconds, right? And there we go, right? I'll not go too far, but you can see that was in March this year, when Trump kind of introduced the tariff and stuff, right? That was where we sold off all the way from 6,000 to 5,002, all right? And we got a bullish signal, all the way up, right? Led the reversal. We got a bearish signal for 1 week, another bullish signal came out, and there we go, right? Started to push up by another 2,000, 3,000, 300 points, all right? And that will be the S&P. Now let's take a look at what has happened over the past 1 over week. Well, I think those of you who have been following the market, right, we actually saw quite a heavy sell down, right? Just last week, I think all of you who have been following, you know that China kind of imposed what we call some export controls of its rare earth minerals, right, to the US. So China is actually one of the, I would say, largest producer, or 90% of the rare earth minerals actually come from China, all right? So when China did that, I think Donald Trump was a little bit infuriated, right, angry as well, and he kind of threatened China that he will increase or escalate tariffs by another 100%, all right, if they were to do that, all right. So that has kind of led to a little bit of an escalation between US and China, all right, back to the same whole April, March again, whereby there was an escalation of the trade war between US and China. Remember, right, at that point in time in April and May, wow, each party was going up and up, 25, 30, 40, 80, 100, 125%, right? It was like a tit for tat war, right? So we are kind of going a little bit back in there, right? But the thing is that, of course, it's not as serious as then, because at that point in time, that was where both parties were very aggressive, right? China and US, they're both escalating the crisis. But right now, Donald Trump kind of take a a softened approach after making this threat. All right, I think they are kind of maybe there'll be a kind of scheduled meeting as well. All right, so I think the market is more or less not as surprised as it was when Trump kind of announced it on this 4th or 7th of April, couple of months back, right? So I think that's where we saw quite a heavy sell down in the markets. And finally, you can see that this S&P 500 index, well, we got what we call a 1GT bearish signal coming up. So when we see a 1GT bearish signal, right, from the one good trend strategy, it doesn't mean it's going to crash and stuff, right? I mean, it just means that, well, we are indeed seeing some heavy selling pressure coming back in the market. So we might turn from a very strong uptrend, look at this, right, all the way up, maybe to a consolidation phase, a bit of a short-term consolidation where it might move sideways a little bit, maybe move up later, maybe move down. Nobody knows, but it's a bit of a selling pressure coming back, and that's the reason why we got a 1GT bearish signal. So you can see the longer-term trend is still up for the market. Look at what we call the red line, 100 days moving average, and the blue line. So 100 days moving average is above the 200 days moving average. All right, and that is where the longer term trend is up. Even though in the short term, we might see some volatility in the market. And we take a look at the green line. You can see, right, this green line gives us an idea of the short term trend, right? So since August, right, we've got the bullish signal, the green line started to point up. Up. September up. All right, October, last week, China kind of imposed the export control or the rare earth minerals. And what happens, right? So selling, and you can see this green line, the 20 days moving average line, well, it has started to flatten out. right? As I say, right? So when we get a bearish signal and the green 20 days moving average line starts to flatten out, it means that we are maybe back as of today, right? Back to some form of a sideways consolidation, right? So you might ask me, okay, Joey, since we are consolidating, right, then what would be a key level to watch whereby we are consolidating at, right? What is the horizontal support level whereby, some bargain hunting can come back, or maybe what is the resistance level whereby, some selling can come back again? Well, let's find out. So you can see right over here, I would say that over the past 3 weeks, it seems like we have found some support, right? It used to be about 6,500, but over the past 3 weeks, it's gone a little bit higher, all the way to around the 6,550 level. Look at this. In fact, a couple of weeks back, we saw some bullish candles for the market, rebounded, what we call something like a bullish spinning top, rebounded, here as well, rebounded a little bit over the past few days, right? So it seems like 6,550 for the S&P 500 index would be what we call the near-term support level. All right, and my take is this. I think, yeah, I mean, even though we got a bearish signal, I think that's where we could see some heavy selling, which is correct, right? Over the past few days, we've seen a lot of volatility in the markets, right? But every time we neared that 6,550, it seems like some buying pressure have came back as well. So my take is that, I think as long as you stay above that 6,550, or maybe give a bit of allowance like 6,500 as long as you stay above the 6,500 to 6,550, well, I think that we probably will be in a bit of a consolidation phase right now in the short term, all right, as it, just take a little bit of a breather for the entire market until, there's more certainty in terms of, this whole entire tariffs threats made by Trump, all right, as well as some of the actions that China will take as well in terms of its rare earth mineral. Of course, if China comes out and say that, oh no, we will not, kind of like impose this export control in the US, right? And both give and take again, all right, that will be a good thing. That will be a boost in the market. I think that's where we'll see a very huge rebound in the markets. But right now, because of this uncertainty, that's where we are seeing a bit of profit taking. People are taking some money off the table as well, right? But thankfully, we're still holding above the 6,550 to 6,500 support level, right? Horizontal support level for the market. What about the resistance? Well, resistance-wise, we could draw this horizontal resistance, I would say somewhere around here, all right? I mean, you want to keep it simple, you can just put like 6,750, all right? Or maybe just put 6,800. I think that could become like the near-term range that we might just see some consolidation, up, down, right? That would become like the range right now for the entire S&P. Of course, if we do see a new bullish signal, like over here, look at this, right? Pump, another one, pump, another one, pump, right? So we see a new bullish signal and plus a few other confirmations. That will be when the market will turn even more bullish, and that's why you want to be prepared to ride the next phase of the upside, right? So what we can do is that, as I say, for this 1GD Pro indicator, it alerts us in seconds. We can type the name of any stocks, any asset classes, even the markets, and we can be alerted if there are any bullish or bearish signals. So we can set an alert like this, the market, right? So we can set an alert, add alert on the SPX, right? One good trend, which is the name of the indicator, one good trend, buy or sell alert. That means if there's any bullish or bearish signal, all right, once per bar, create, all right, I can be alerted by an email, an app notification, a pop-up, all right, and that's where I can take a look at it. Does it make sense about, right? That's how you can set alerts on this, on the entire market to be alerted if there are any bullish or bearish signals. So it doesn't always come out with bullish signal. If you see a bearish signal, then you want to be careful, maybe get out, take some profit, reassess the situation, and maybe plan for a re-entry again, all right, when the time comes, all right? And that's where trading becomes more structured, right? It follows a simple, repeatable process, right? Rather than, confusion, all right, and chasing and overwhelm, all right? Okay, now this is the market. So now let's go to look at some of the US stocks that you guys are asking. So let me just take some time to go through the US stocks that you guys are asking. So just type in the chat, guys, any US stocks that you guys are looking at. And before we do that, guys, before we go into this session, would it be okay if you guys help me to like and share? All right, like and share. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not yet followed me on Facebook and even on YouTube, right? Hit the like and share. Thanks for all the heart shapes, likes. Thank you so much. Right? Hit the follow as well, guys, so that when we go live in the future, you will be notified as well. Right? Like and share, follow. Thank you so much. All right, let me just take some time to go through and pick the very first US stock for today. All right, for today, let's see, right? So give me some time. I've not looked at the chat yet, so give me some time. Let me just see what's that. So as I say, guys, when we go through your stocks, give us a bit of a context. Right? Give us a bit of a context, like, are you looking to buy? What's the price you bought? Are you looking to sell and all that, right? So that we can give a bit more priority, especially if those of you who take some time to actually fill up the stocks. Okay. Okay, let's see, right? Okay, let's see this one, right? First last. Hi, Joey and team. Bought Poet, P-O-E-T at $8.50, but now it's pulling back. Is there a red signal to sell on the 1GT? Well, let's find out. P-O-E-T. Have not heard of this stock before, right? P-O-E-T. Poet Technologies. The code is P-O-E-T. Let's find out, right? Never really seen this stock before. But let's see. So this is Poet Technologies. Let's take a look. Right, about $7.56. So back to your question first, last. Well, essentially, yeah, we are indeed seeing a bit of a pullback. Is there any red signal to sell? Nope. Right? No. Thankfully, there's no red signal to sell. Like you see, I mean, previously we had look at this, right? So previously we had like September last year, bullish. All right, and it went up by how many percent? All the way up. 54%, and it got bearish signal and starts coming down. All right, two more bullish signal, all the way up. Got a bearish, comes down. But let's take a look. Right? I think most recently, we got 1GT bullish signal. I think the long-term trend is up as well. The green 20 days moving average line starting to point up. So I think okay, but this is a stock whereby, I mean, it's only about $7 plus, right? A little bit more speculative, right? I probably wouldn't want to hold so much of this stock, but yeah. Just to answer your question, well, we do not have any bearish signal right now, all right? So I think you can use it to guide you, but just take note, it's a bit more speculative, so make sure you practice proper position sizing, right? You want to be careful. I think, let's see, right? I think right now we would see a bit of a support around the $7. Look at this, right? 7 was a resistance level that we've broken. It would now be what we call a new support level. 7 to all the way to 950 kind of resistance, right? So quite a speculative, very volatile. Look at this, right? One day it can go like 20-30% one, right? So probably not my cup of tea, right? We are probably focusing on more not as speculative kind of stock. All right, so first last, this is the first stock for today, POET, Poet Technologies. No bullish signals, still okay, but just take note, it's a bit more speculative. So I think it's fine to take some profit near a resistance like $9.50 to $10. That's where some selling is potentially coming, like what we've seen over the past 1 to 2 weeks. All right, so that's a very quick one. The very first stock, Poet. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stock. Bervyn, all yours.
Awesome, thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. I think just now there was a question directed at me. I think Yatri. Hi, good morning, Yatri. So you said many US corporate companies shall declare their financial results this month, and market is calibrating pullback to absorb results. Not a TA topic, but Bervyn has this. Okay, so my views on the earnings seasons coming down right now, I think is very, very clouded. Like what Joey has said, there are some tariff fear from US-China tensions. There is a government shutdown. There is a lack of data coming out from the US now. I think across the board, if you're looking at the Asia market, you also can see that it's a little bit of weakness. There's a little bit of weakness across the board. So I think it is better to take everything with a pinch of salt. So now companies, when they are announcing their earnings, in my opinion, you can use those numbers that they are announcing to gauge what is the economy looking like. Their forecast, the management forecast especially, you can tell that for their specific sector, what is their plan going forward. Are they going to be hiring more people? Are they going to be doing more R&D? So I think all these numbers is important, but I think likewise, you have to follow somewhat of a trend, right? So we are talking about the trend here in the technical aspect, where if the company has generally been doing well, share prices have been rising. All right, there is some stability in their prices as well. As you can see, majority of the Magnificent 7 companies have started to stabilize already. So I think coming down the road, with I think some major earnings next week, I have a list on my end here. I think next week I have put down several major ones. Netflix next Tuesday, GE Aerospace, one of my favorites next week. Tuesday, Coca-Cola, Philip Morris. I think Wednesday we got some of those counters that you guys have also requested. Tesla coming in Wednesday. All right, IBM coming in next Wednesday. GE Vernova also coming in next Wednesday. So it's a big week. It's a big week ahead. It's the start of an earnings season. So I mean, if you have positions, it's better to be aware of the earnings results. So, if prices move up, gap down, there is a plan in place. All right. Okay. So that is generally my take on it. Just be a bit more cautious due to the lack of data right now. All right. So okay, I'll just move on to this. Now I think Roland. Hi. Good morning. So please review Root. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Root, but I have it on my screen right now. Already bought in at $84.30. Not sure if to sell off or to hold on for a rebound. I think I saw this coming down the road also. I think Roland, music lover, has also replied you. He says sell Root, bro. Drop below recent support. Is on a downtrend below MA and MA all pointing down. That's the short answer. Can I skip? No lah. Okay, let's just go through this Root very quickly. See if we agree with music lover right here. Okay, Roland. Let's see. Okay, so I think I have already turned on the 1GT indicator. If you're trying to go for the most amount of 1GT bearish signals, I think one of this, this stock maybe would be one of the top few lah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1GT bearish signals. Do you still want to buy? I don't think so lah. So if your plan now is to accumulate, if not sure if to sell off, to hold for rebound, you just got in recently. Okay, so you just got in recently, so not too bad. So let me just draw a line here. Let me just take a look. 84, you actually got in under a support that I have drawn. So let's change this to red color first. So you go in under a support. Usually when prices break a support, we do not want to get in. All right, first, do not want to get in. Why? It's because there is a reason why a support is broken. A support is broken is because there is weakness, there is sellers, buyers are not in control. That is why a support is broken. So if we have the 20 days moving average pointing down, I mean previously it was pointing up for a little bit, but after that subsequently it came down after prices retraced from the immediate 105 resistance at that point of time. Pull back down, did not manage to consolidate like in August above that $85 support. Did not manage to consolidate there, and then prices just break down lower. Yesterday night we closed at $75. We closed at $75, $10 down from that entry price that you are currently sitting on. That longer term moving averages, how does it look? Like what music lover said just now, yep, the 100 days moving average definitely pointing down, just crossed below that 200 days moving average. Another sign that the longer term trend is weakening as well. Yes, that 200 days moving average, previously was a bit flat, pointing up a little bit, but I would say generally if you just look at this entire period, right? This period from November of last year up to August of this year, yeah, it was definitely pointing up more steeply as compared to now. So I think the longer term trend is also showing signs of weakness. So what is the plan now? Definitely is not a buy. But do you want to hold on for a rebound? All right, do you want to hold on for a rebound? Let's see. So we have that support. All right, the support still looks to be, the next support looks to be about that $70 level. The $70 level. The $85 level was previously a resistance tested once, twice, 3 times. Then now was a support turn resistance once again. So we are, if prices hit back towards that $70 level, what we would like to see is, of course, definitely buyers coming back in. But I don't control the market. Joey doesn't control the market. Z doesn't control the market. So we do not know. Nobody will know whether actually buyers will be keen to accumulate at this level at the same time, especially when all signs are pointing towards a weakness. So I think it would be best to have a plan. All right, it would be best to have a plan right here, because if that $70 level is also broken, I think the downside could stretch further towards that $50 support level as well. So you want to be a bit more careful, Roland. I think there are, like what music lover also said, there are plenty of opportunities elsewhere. All right, don't put your money on a bad horse. Right, you want to put your money on a good horse that can run far and has a good trend, or a trend that is building up. All right, so I think you can reshuffle. I think there's a lot of opportunities right now. Maybe want to consider reducing a little bit of exposure for this counter. All right, definitely do not continue to pile on. All right, okay. So now I will pass the time to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so let me share my screen over here. And the next stock that I'll be covering will be this company called Rigetti Computing. Because I think I saw Sao Hui asking about Rigetti Computing. I saw someone, Sam, right? I think Sam was also asking about it, but never really provide much context. Like, at least Sao Hui provided context saying that you hold it, can you still hold? You bought at about 750, and I saw the ugly duckling. You actually commented saying that Rigetti and quantum stocks are getting nuked. TA aside, market sentiment is going against you now. Let's take a look. But maybe for myself, I cannot say for the whole of the market sentiment. But based on what we actually see yesterday, just based on the candlestick, right? Yes, it seems like the market sentiment, it's not so good, right? It's not so good for this particular stock, especially when we are seeing a very, very, very long candlestick over here. All right. So Sawi, you mentioned that you bought at around 750. Yeah. So let's take a look. For this stock, right? First thing, what we are seeing is that the trend still looks pretty okay, right? Based on the long-term, short-term moving average. And opposite from what Bervyn mentioned earlier on, just now that stock, right? Root have 7 1GT bearish signal, but this one got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1GT bullish signal. So it's opposite, right? It's opposite. So the trend is totally different, right? And of course, they are in different space, right? This one is more of like quantum computing, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, right over here. So the quantum computing services. So this is more of like a quantum computing stocks, right? So the trend definitely looks very good. And so you mentioned they bought at 750. Let me just see. 750 to where we closed yesterday. That is, oh wow, that is a 540%. 540%. So wow, amazing. I actually, sometimes we never see so high of a figure before, right? So okay, so Salway, maybe for you, right, you are thinking whether can you continue to maximize your profits, right? But you're already sitting at about 540% profits. Let's see. All right. So for this, of course, I mean, we want to take a look at where are the support and the resistance level, right? And of course, the resistance level is where you can potentially, take some profits, right? Take some profit, because since you're already sitting on 540%, right? So very clearly, this $60 here, right, would be one of the immediate resistance, I would say, because this was where, prices actually started to pull back after, it actually near this $60, right? And that was actually 2 days ago, right? Just 2 days ago. I'm not sure if the price will actually rebound, right? Go back up to the $60. But if it does, I think it'll be good for you to take some profits, since, 540% really, don't be too greedy, right? Just take some profits, right? Take some profits, right? And the thing is that we can actually make use of this very, very important feature of this 1GT Pro indicator, which is the trailing support function, right? So this trailing support function, right, if you guys actually recall, right, this trading support actually follows the prices as it moves up, right? As you can see over here, when prices, every time it moves up, it goes up a little, right? And it goes up a little, and you follow the prices as it moves up. And when it actually does this, right, it actually accounts for the stock volatility, right? So as you can see, there's some spaces in between, right? The candlestick and the trading support, it accounts for the stock volatility. So, Sahui, to answer your question, you are holding, can you still hold, right? One way is you can actually make use of this trading support, right, to continue to ride the trend, right? To continue to ride the trend, because right now, I mean, long-term, short-term definitely still looks good, right? And your trading support right now is at about, let me see, about 37, about 37.70, around this level, right? What you can do is, potentially place a stop limit order to follow the trailing support, right, as it moves up, right? So essentially in that way, you're actually protecting your profits while you continue to ride the trend. So that's one way that you can actually make use of this function right over here. So it could be maybe, you want to give it additional maybe 1 to 2%, slightly below the trading support, right? And then continue to shift it up as this trading support moves up, right? But of course, when prices actually go up to this, rebound and go up to this $60, right? I think it will be okay for you to actually take some profits first. Just take some profits first near this $60, because since you are already, like I mentioned, sitting on about, let's see, if let's say you go back up to 60, right, you are sitting on about 700% profits. So I think it's okay to actually take some profits. Like partial 1/3 is also fine, right? It's also fine. But otherwise, if you want to think about continue to ride the trend, then nothing wrong for you to actually continue to trail this support level as it continue to move up. All right, because so far the trend is still looking good. As long as it's still holding above the trailing support, right, it is still okay, right? It is still okay. I'm not too sure if tonight they'll actually rebound back or continue lower, right? But so far it is still holding above the trailing support. All right, so that's a very quick one for Rigetti. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stocks.
All right, thank you so much, Z and Bervyn as well. So I think what Bervyn and Z mentioned would be something very powerful as well, guys. So I think for Bervyn, when he covered like root, guys, we have like 7, right? Not 1, 2, 3, like 7 1GT bearish signal. And then, you know, when Z covered this stock, Rigetti computing, all right, we have 7 1GT bullish signal. So I think you guys can see for yourself, right? Would you prefer 7 bullish one, or we prefer 7 bearish signal? All right, so that's how, guys, you know, when we pull out a stock, right? Of course, when we see a bullish signal, it will give us more conviction, more confidence to take the trade. But if we see like bearish, right, not 1, not 2, but 5, 6, 7 bearish signal, everything looks to be going down, right? Then what for? You want to go and buy and purposely, you know, lose money, right? We try not to do that, right? So I think that's the whole point of the entire one good trend strategy. So you can see for yourself, right? When you get bullish signals, you know, it starts moving up higher and higher. I have no idea how high you go, but as long as all the confirmations are all pointing to more upside, then we ride it. Does it make sense, about? All right, okay. So just put the link in the chat again, guys. Tomorrow, as I say, we don't have time to cover the whole strategy today, but tomorrow we'll do a one good trend secrets book launch. All right, I think the link's all the way hidden above, but do join us. Do join us for 6 hours. 6 hours live trading. That's where I'll talk about how you can get a copy of the one good trend secrets, and we talk about all the secrets, all the 7-step checklists. Right in this book right over here, right? So this is a brand new book launch, 18 October, tomorrow, 10 a.m. To 4 p.m. All right. Okay. Now let me go ahead to cover the very next stock, and I think that will be asked by Kenneth, right? Kenneth Leong, Futu looking to buy around 150. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me a context. I think you're looking to buy. All right. But Kenneth, maybe you can help me out a bit more if you're still over here. Right? Do you have any positions yet, or you sold all already and then you're looking to buy now? All right, or maybe you have already bought long ago and then now you want to buy some more. All right, so if you can type in the chat, Kenneth, so that will be a bit more helpful before I can answer. Let me know, Kenneth. Right? Are you looking to buy more? All right, you have it, or you sold all and then you buy more, or you didn't even buy at all for the past few years? What it is? Kenneth, I like the fundamentals. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kenneth. All right. So you like the fundamentals, looking to buy. So you have not got anything yet, Kenneth, right? Right. Basically, looking to buy now, like brand new, or average around 170. Okay. Got it. So you bought some 170, now looking to buy some more. Got it. Okay. Thanks for giving me a bit of context. Now, this is Futu holdings. You can see that I will not go too far, but I think Futu has been in a pretty good long-term uptrend, all right, since last year. Just by looking at what we call the red 100 days moving average line and the blue 200 days moving average. Look at the red line, very gently, right? The blue line is up as well, red above the blue. So the long-term trend has been pretty intact since last year. No problem, right? Long-term trend is good, right? Every time you pull back a little bit, the short term for 1 month, 2 months, a few weeks, what happens? Buyers come back and we go even higher, right? Look at this, right? Pump, we got a bullish signal, all the way up. My bearish one, it starts coming down, right? Somewhere beginning of 2025, pump, right? 3 bullish signal went up. A bearish one came down a bit, but in May, I think 6th of May 2025. So long-term trend was up, all right? And also we wait for the green line, the green 20 days moving average line to turn up as well, right? That represents the short-term trend. And there we go, all the way up, rested for a while, 1-2 weeks, another bullish signal, it went up even faster, right? And that would be, I would say, from the very first bullish signal to the bearish signal we have seen, a 71% in about 5 months, right? Pretty good, right? I think you guys can see that while we have a new 1GT bearish signal coming out. So I'm not too sure exactly when you bought, all right? But I think you mentioned your average about 170. So maybe you did not get in around that, 100, 110, whereby we had the bullish signal. You got in maybe about last few weeks, which is about $170, all right? And that would be where I would say that we normally don't want to rush to get in when we were to see a bearish signal. So let me share with you guys why. So you can see, right? Bullish signals came out since May, 70%. Finally, we got a bearish signal after 4-5 months. And if you take a look at the green 20 days moving average line, all right, you can see that it is kind of like sloping down right now. Does it make sense? Let me just open bigger for you. I mean, don't need to bluff yourself. For me, up means up, down means down. Also, it's like, it's down, right? So the short-term trend obviously is down, right? Plus, we got a new 1GT bearish signal, right? So we could still see more short-term weakness right now, right? It could be 1 week, it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, I don't know, all right? But what I know is that right now, we are indeed seeing some short-term weakness. So, but longer-term trend, no problem. That one is fine, no problem. That one is okay. Okay, as I say, the red and blue line, no problem. But it's the fact that the short-term trend is down right now. So we try not to buy when the bearish signal come up, plus the short-term trend also down. Does it make sense, All right. Then you might ask me, then when do we buy? Oh, we buy when we see a new bullish signal, like over here, pam, we got a new bullish signal. So, back to your question, right? Looking to buy around 150. So when we think about buying, we don't say that, oh, we want to buy 150 or 140 or 142 or whatnot. We don't base on the prices to say I want to buy this price, but more or less we get the confirmations to get back in, then we buy, right? Not because you hit 150, then you just buy, but you sure 150 can buy or not? That's the question, or is it 140? All right, like where do you get 150 from, right? So what happens is that only when we get the confirmations to where there are signs of a reversal, then we think about getting in. And that will be when we get a new 1GT bullish signal, like over here, right? Let's say you can take this and then copy and then you paste over here or here or here. I mean, yeah, if we see that bullish signal, all right, and maybe you see this green line, that is kind of like, pointing down right now, all right, down, maybe you stop pointing down and then maybe you start to like reverse back up, right? Then that would be another confirmation that we can think about getting in. Does it make sense? But not just say 150 buy, but why you buy? Because you just see 150, but why not 140? Right? Maybe it can be 140, maybe it can be 130 also, right? So we try to get the confirmation to think about getting in. So I think back to your question, Kenneth, all right, I would say that 150, I think 150 would be what we call a bit of a temporary psychological support level. It seems like over the past, few days, it seems like some bargain hunting have come back around there, all right? But we still need more confirmation to see whether this support is really holding, to see whether this green line can stop pointing down, that kind of thing, right? And whether you get a new bullish signal. I think all that would be more confirmation to really think about loading up more to ride the reversal, like what we've seen, pump, all the way up. So I mean, if you can take this and then we see this, yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe it might be a bit lower, all right? But if we see that confirmation, that's where I think it'll be more kind of like a high conviction reversal kind of trade. You see what I'm saying so far? All right, so that would be for Futu. All right, we've got a bearish signal, a bit of weakness in the short term. Wait for it, right? Wait for the market, wait for the stock to show its hand rather than just 150 or 140. All right, but no, wait for it to show itself. All right, wait for the bullish signal. And that's one thing about the one good trend strategy. Cool. All right, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to share the next stock. Bervyn?
All right, thanks, Joey. Let me just switch it to mine. Here we go. Okay, so TFI, hi TFI, good morning. I bought Intel at 36.85. Any signs of any uptrend signals, or should I get lost? No, I think it means stop loss, right? Okay, Ken, let's see. Right here, I think for Intel, I think definitely this year it started to pick up. I think partnership with NVIDIA, the US government taking a stake in it. Share price definitely is reflecting all this, right? Since the 20 days moving average have started to slope up. As you can see, I think sometime in November last year, if you were thinking about getting in, maybe not the best. But I think right now, I think it is actually in a much better state as compared to what it was a year ago. Right? Prices have seemed to have some revived strength. What jumps out to me is that 100 days, 200 days moving average have started to already slope up, all right? Crossing over each other in September. The red line pointing up, then the blue line pointing out, and then right now we are in a much more stable trend where the green line is above the red line, above the blue line at 20, over 100, over 200. A confirmation that the longer term trend alongside the shorter term trend is in the same direction, which is up right now. So I think prices consolidated since the start of October within that general range of $36 to about $40. So it got in about 36.85. I think 36.85, very, very close to that support level. In fact, very, very close to what we call like a buy zone, a support zone, levels where you actually want to try to position yourself to get in. So great job there. I would say that's a very, very good entry. Any uptrend signals, let me just turn on that buy or sell signals. I think we still have 1, 2, 3 1GT bullish signals still in play. Any more recent ones so far? Unfortunately, don't have just yet, but prices have seem to start a consolidation range where perhaps you may see prices just move between that $4 range, 36 to about 40, and after a meaningful consolidation, maybe I don't know, maybe next week, next few weeks or what, when prices break above that $40 level, you may see another 1 GT bullish signal, coming in right there. And I think maybe it will unlock the next leg to this uptrend as well. So I think we're very, very early on in that reverse. So I think prices have previously, let me just see, I think about $52, $50 to $52 was its all-time high. I mean, right back in 2024. Let me see anything further back. Oh no, in fact, it had brought up to about $60. But okay, so let me just change that. That is a recent year high, about $50 or so. I think that could unlock that next leg into that $50 resistance if that $40 level gives way and becomes a support level. So I think right now your entry is very, very close to the support already. So you are able to firstly, set an alert if prices break above that $40. That's where you want to be alerted. You want to start shifting your stop limit orders up. I start protecting those profits, because you'll be sitting on maybe very close to $3 to $4 of profits per share. But however, if prices break below that $36 level, right, you want to be alerted as well. So you can set up some alerts right there, maybe about 35.80. You want to be alerted if that $36 level gives way. Then you maybe want to come in to consider a stop loss plan. But I think as of right now, it looks like still pretty much moving sideways for Intel. All right, okay, so Fifi, I hope that helps. I'll pass the time now to Z to bring you guys through the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock that I have over here will be by Chong, right? Chong, I hope you're still here. You're asking, thinking of buying Micron, Sales for CRM. Don't hold any at the moment. Okay, you're thinking about buying 3 different stocks. So maybe for me now, I'll cover the very first one that you're asking, which is Micron Tech. Okay, Micron Tech. So the stock code will be MU. So you are not holding any at the moment. So thinking of entering a new position. All right, so let's take a look at this stock. All right. For Micron right now, maybe you guys can help me out in the chat. Like, based on the chart right now, do you guys think Micron, right, is in an uptrend or is it in a downtrend? There's Tessa. Tessa is also asking, MU, is it good to enter? Started to pick up, hitting all-time high, right? Hitting all-time high. Okay, so maybe you guys can help me in the chat. Do you guys think whether Micron, is it in an uptrend or is it in a downtrend? Let me see. What do you guys think? Ugly Duckling said uptrend, energized mood, uptrend strong. Up. Okay. A lot of you guys think that is in an uptrend, which I totally agree, right? Because what do we look out for? We look out for first thing, which is the moving averages, right? So all 3 moving averages doesn't have any issues. All 3 of them are actually pointing up, right? Secondly, we actually, when I turn on the 1 GT bullish signal, right now already turned on. What do we see? We see 2 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal, right? Still no exits yet. So let me just see from the very first signal that came out to where we are at yesterday, it has gone up from August to October by about 65% already, right? 65%. So of course, some of you guys are thinking whether is it good time to start entering Micron, right? So the thing is that, sometimes we got questions like this, right? Very often, right? Like for example, back in September, maybe somewhere over here, let's say somewhere over here, then maybe it broke above a support level and people were to ask us, hey, Micron's so high already, right over here, like that. Can I still buy into Micron? But then look, where is it now, right? So the thing is that the mindset that you guys have, right, is actually good, because you guys are thinking to enter a stock that is already in the uptrend, which is what we want, and that is what we want to follow in the 1 GT framework, right? We want to buy into stock that is uptrending rather than it's downtrending. So I wanna say for you guys who are asking about entering Micron, right, the mindset is really in the right direction, right? But now we need to take a look at where can we potentially enter, right? Because we want to buy in an uptrending stock, but we don't want to anyhow buy also. We want to buy near a support level, right? So we want to take a look at where are the potential support levels that you guys can take note of to, set some price alert to potentially, position yourself for entry. All right. So for Micron, let's take a look at what actually happened, right? So over the past couple of weeks, I think since, at the start of October, it kind of like just headed sideways. Price action was kind of like just moving sideways, right? And then we have a $200 psychological resistance right over here. And the support was at about 180, right? Because this was where, buyers came in to support the prices. It didn't go below the 180, right? But as of last night, what do we see? We see that price, actually gap up. Price actually gap up. Let me see. Let me see what actually happened. Maybe just a very quick glance in terms of the latest update, right? Okay, so moving forward with new manufacturing facilities, Oh, they have UBS Group, Citi Group have also raised the target price. Yeah, so all these are catalysts, right, as to why yesterday night the price have actually get up, right? But the thing is that sometimes we don't really care so much about exactly what actually happened, because we believe that, you know, based on the chart, everything will be absorbed by the market and it will actually reflect in the chart price now. All right, so I'm not saying that it's not important, but it is a catalyst, right? It is why we are seeing, you know, sometimes price actually get up or get down, right? And as of last night, price actually tested this level, right? This $200 psychological level right over here, right? So for those of you who are thinking about buying, which is Chong, right? Chong and Tesla, right? There is two places, two potential zones that you guys can potentially look at, right? Number one, where would it be, right? Because yesterday price test this 200. If you don't ask me whether this today, next week, whether can price hold above the 200, I don't know. But right now, I know that it is testing, right? I know that it's testing. And if it can firmly hold above this 200 like so, this 200 will turn from what we call a resistance to become a support, right? And when we think about the 1GD framework, where do we want to buy? We reiterate many times, you want to buy near a support, right? So essentially, this would become your new potential buy zone, which is a potential buy zone to actually enter, right? Because it is a new higher support being found. But of course, this is considered a more aggressive strategy because this is a breakout strategy, right? And when you have a breakout strategy, of course, you must have to manage your downside, okay? Must manage your downside. And the second zone for those, you know, who are a bit more risk adverse, right? What you can monitor for, or the zone that you can potentially monitor for, would be here, right? This would be the second potential buy zone that you can actually set some price alert near the 180. So there's two places that we can potentially look at, right? Number one is above this 200. Number two is somewhere near the 180. So it depends, right? Because there's no right and wrong. It really depends on individual risk appetite as well. Because some people, they might prefer a retracement strategy, but some people, they are more aggressive. They prefer a breakout strategy, right? No right or wrong, but most importantly is to always have a plan to manage your downside, irregardless whether, you know, you decide to enter near the 180 or the $200 right over here, right? But if prices indeed can break and hold above the 200, then where is the potential upside that we are looking at, right? That would be about, you know, like this, about a $20 range, right? About $20 range. And if we were to project this upwards, you know, the next upside target that we can look at will be towards the 220 resistance right over here. All right. So far, I think, you know, it still looks pretty bullish for this stock in terms of technically speaking, right? And right now it's testing the 200. So I think this is where you potentially want to monitor, set price alert near the $200 level, and also as well as the 180 if prices were to retrace back. All right. So I hope that helps for Tesla and Chong to give you some things to think about and some price alert to set for Micron. All right. So that will be all. I'll pass the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much. See, let's move on to the next one. All right, and that would be, I think, asked by Francis. All right, Francis Xavier. All right, good morning. I bought in DNN, all right, Denison Mines. May I know if it's okay to accumulate? Right, very good, Francis Xavier. All right, just to, if you're still here, Francis, just give us a bit of a context, right? What price did you get in on DNN? Right, is it like a few months back, or is it like last week, yesterday, or something? Let me know, all right? And then now you're looking to accumulate more, right? Yeah, but just give us a bit of context, right? Based on what you are holding. I mean, you already bought like previously, right? What price did you buy, right? Francis, if you're here, can type in the chat so that we can from there understand, because it does make a bit of a difference as well, right? If you have bought a lot, you know, then you know it could be a bit different, right? Okay, maybe not over here, Francis. Okay, never mind. Let me go ahead. Maybe you take some time to type, right? Okay, let me just go ahead to talk about this Denison Mines Corp, all right, DNN right now. So you can see, right, that for Denison Mine, well, we got some bearish signals popping out, I would say, in December, right? I think this one is like 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish signals. Look at this, right? It's just going down, 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 right? So I think in the one good trend strategy, I think like what Zee has mentioned as well, we try not to buy a stock when it's going down, right? Because first of all, if you're doing that, you're going against the tide, all right? You're going against the waves, right? The waves are coming in, you are going out, right? Then you're like a bit opposite direction, right? So we try not to do that, right? We always want to be along or align with the trend, right? And also, if we do get bullish signals coming out as confirmations, even better, right? So previously, the one that I think Bervyn covered or Zee covered, there's like 7 bullish and 7 bearish signals, but now they've got 3 bullish signals as a confirmation. And look at this, right? We started to see that reversal all the way back up. So Francis, right? You mentioned that, you've got in, you're looking to accumulate more. I think looking at this bullish signal, I'm not too sure exactly when you got in, but looking at this bullish signals coming out right over here, somewhere around May, all right? Pump, right? All the way to now, 125, right? 125% gain in about 6 months. So I think it's pretty good, right? It's pretty good, right? But let's see if there could potentially be even more upside. So my take is this, right? This is kind of like, it's not a 100, 200 kind of stock, right? It's a bit like $3 for US. It's a bit more speculative, kind of, maybe consider a bit of a penny stock, all right? So you want to be a bit more cautious, right? You want to make sure you manage your risk as well while you're riding this stock. So nothing wrong with this stock. I think it's fine. It looks good, right? The trend looks good. Longer term uptrend, look at the red and blue intact. The short term trend, look at the green line. Obviously, it's up, flat up. Is it still up? Yeah, it's still up, right? So trend-wise, it looks good. Bullish signals are still in play. In fact, right now, perhaps we may even see a new support coming out around the $3. So $3 was a resistance that we have kept below since September. Pump, right? I think a few days back, we went above the $3. So now the range is maybe $3 to $3.50. So quite speculative kind of stock. So I think, you can take some profit along the way, near $3.50, near $4. I think that's nothing wrong. But what you could do right now is to take steps to, if you're looking to accumulate more, I think that's fine, right? You can try to maybe get in near what we call the $3 support, or maybe above what we call the trailing support, right? I think Z have talked about the trailing support. So based on this 1GT Pro indicator, right, there's a very powerful feature, which is the one good trend, I would say the trailing support that follows a stock as it moves up. Let me just keep it a little bit simple. Let me just remove all the lines, and you can see that the trailing support is right over here, right? Since May, when we got the 1GT bullish signals coming out, you can see that the trailing support popped up. Prices move up slowly. It follows it up, flat, follow. All right, from $1.26 follow until now become $2.50. So it follows a stock. It accounts for the volatility of a stock. It gives it the breathing space, right, to breathe, to move freely, right? And any natural pullbacks near it would be good as well if we see some bullish candles appearing near it. Like for example, like over here, look at this, right? That was in August. We traded there. We got two bullish signals, all the way we push away from the trailing support. So if you can enter near the trailing support, that'll be more preferable. Preferably, you can enter near the trailing support. That will be slightly more attractive prices, right? But doesn't mean you want to enter there, means the price will go there for you to enter, then you can check with you whether you buy it and then go up, right? So it doesn't mean that you can go down for you to buy, right? So, but if you can hit there and we see some bullish reversal candles, even better. If not, then you might have to get in maybe above a horizontal support like the $3 to accumulate even more. So either way, I think as long as right now we're above the trailing support, trend indicators are all positive, bullish signals are still in play, I think it still looks good, right? And if we're to break below maybe the trailing support and we see a bearish signal, then you can take some profit, get out, all right? And that will be what we'll do as well. All right, okay? So that will be Denison Mines, right? DNN. Okay, let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stop.
All right, thanks, Joey. All right, so I was seeing here, Jing Long. So you bought BBAI at 840. Should I cut or hold? I think just now I saw, I think may have also bought exactly at the same price as you. Was there at 840? Okay, let me just see. Right here we have BBAI, BigBear.ai. Okay, so I think the more recent days, I think prices have shown a little more strength. I think in the past it was looking like it was a very, very speculative stock, but I think recent days it has stabilized a little bit, although volatility still looks a little bit high. We have two 1GT bullish signals that have already show up. All right, so two 1GT bullish signals, prices are currently retracing, or yesterday night it has retraced from that $9 resistance, tested once in July, tested twice in July, in fact, and we are seeing a little bit of selling coming in for the past 2 days as prices, I think on Tuesday, was not able to break and hold above that $9 level. I think prices looks like it's heading back towards that support level close to that $7 psychological level where it had previously consolidated for about a week or so before it started to hit higher. All right, so then the next support I can see, or it looks like it is about that $6 psychological level as well. And I think this could be a very, very key support because that 100 days moving average is also right at that level. So I think right now both of you guys have already bought at 840, have already bought at 840. So I think your immediate stop loss plan could be below that $7 level, below that $7 horizontal support level. So let me just very, very quickly turn on that trailing support like Joey have did just now, and let me just remove all my lines first. I just change this to red, change this to red. All right, okay. So we can see that that trailing support is right around that $6 level as well. So all signs are pointing towards that this $6 level could be pretty much a very, very key level for you to watch out for. All right, so you want, if you have bought at 840 and you intend to stop loss below that trailing support, that is a very, very wide 30% stop loss that you currently may have as well. So I think a more immediate plan, would be to watch out for that $7 level first. And if prices really head back towards that $6 level, nothing wrong to reposition yourself for an entry as long as all signs are pointing towards that longer term trend still heading up and that 20 days moving average, because by the time it heads towards that $6 level, this will definitely be pointing down already. All right, this will be like looking like that. You want to wait for it to stabilize and then head up. All right, so that could be a possibility as well. Of course, nobody can say if $7 would be in fact that support level, the temporary support level where buyers will in fact come back to push prices back up to that $9 level. So I think I bought a little bit on the higher side. Of course, we would much rather like you buy closer to a support level, but no worries, already have bought ready. So you want to just take note of some of the key levels. All right, and if that $9 level is broken, all right, set some alerts there. $9 broken, you want to be alerted, and then prices could head towards that $10 level. All right, so that is some people who would also in fact would like to buy if prices is able to break and hold above that $9 level. That's like what Z have mentioned, there's a very aggressive strategy, a more aggressive strategy, what we call like a breakout trade. All right, so that also is possible for those who have already bought closer to a previous support. It is scaling into their wins. All right, so how do you do all this? I mean, you may be wondering as well. So I think let's not dive too much into that right now. So if you are keen to find out a little bit more, I think you can pick up Joey's 1GT Secrets book as well. I think within the book, he has written very, very clearly, very, very in-depth, I would say as well, how to actually scale into your wins. I think Joey has very kindly put that link for tomorrow's live launch event in the chat again as well. So if you have not registered yet, please do so. I mean, we will see you there tomorrow. All right, so for me, Jinglong, just take note of those key levels, set some alerts for yourself, have a plan if prices hit up or hit down. All right, okay, so I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock for you guys.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, let me share my screen very quickly over here. Okay, so I think the next one will be from Ian. Hi, Ian. Nice to see you here again. Any thoughts on JPM? Is it still on your watch list? Any new RLSL resistance support for entry after recent earning results? Thinking to accumulate thought. Though will be DCA up as bought at 91. Wow, 91 ah. Now the price yesterday closed at 298. Wow, 91 means you probably bought very, very long time ago and you are probably still holding it. Let me just see. 91, that will be somewhere here. So probably it will be 2020. Maybe somewhere 2020. Let me just see. 91 to where we are at. Oh, wow. They are also sitting on very huge profits. Over 200% of profits. Okay, great. Then you are thinking of adding on more position, which is great, right? That is the kind of mindset that we want to have when we are holding stocks that are now in an uptrend, right? And we are thinking of adding more position rather than dollar cost average down. You're thinking about dollar cost average up, right? Averaging up, which is good, right? Which is good. So let's take a look at JPM to see some of the levels, right? That we can take note of, right? We can take note of. Okay, so for JPM right now, as of yesterday, right? As of yesterday, we see that there was quite a bearish candlestick, but very recently, right? Yeah, we know that they actually released their earnings, right? And I think their earnings was actually not too bad, right? Not too bad, because they did mention that, you know, it actually topped the analyst estimates for this quarter, right? Especially, you know, investment banking generated more than 700 million more revenue than expected, right? And also I think let me see, their fixed income trading has also jumped, their equity trading has also surged, their investment banking fees has also jumped as well. So generally their earnings is not too bad, right? It's not too bad, right? But what we can see over here, right, as you can see, on earnings days are usually, it's quite volatile, right? You can see that it is, even though it's a red candlestick, right, but then the lower shadow right over here, right, actually indicates that, you know, buyers are willing to come in and support the prices and push the price back up on this trading day, right? But then, unfortunately, over the next couple of days, you know, the 2 days ago and also yesterday, probably some profit taking actually happened, and we are seeing all these red candlesticks happening, right? So right over here, you can see that, you know, previously, I think this was one of the stock that was also covered, right, during our AMAS, and $300 is actually one of the psychological level that we have drawn, right? But always remember, even though let's say I draw 300, maybe Joey could draw maybe 302, Bervyn maybe could draw 298. It's always a zone, right? It's always a support zone. It's not so much of like a specific point, right? So if I were to turn on this trading support right over here, you can see that is price still trading above the trading support? Yes, it's still above the trading support, right? But right now it is indeed testing the $300 level, the $300, this support zone right over here. But so far, it's still holding above the trading support. And we still have 4 consecutive 1GT bullish signal that is still playing out. So I would say right now, right, is exactly at this zone whereby some people may consider to actually accumulate some position, right? To actually accumulate some position, because it is near the support zone. It's directly right at the support zone. But of course, for those of you who do not have any positions at all, you are thinking about entering, right? When you do enter here, make sure to have your downside management, because like downside risk management right over here, maybe it could be a 2 to 3% below the trading support, just to manage your downside, right? But for Ian's case, because you are thinking of averaging up, right, and you bought at 91, now it's 300. Even if you buy at here, this support zone, your average cost price will be way below all these support levels, even below these 280 support levels. All right, so in that sense, right, if you're thinking about averaging up, I think it is nothing wrong to actually buy or to actually, you know, accumulate on some positions near the support zone, especially when the longer term trend, right, is still looking okay, right? Still looking okay. And maybe for those of you who do not have any positions and you are thinking about entering some position, right, maybe one thing, right, that you also want to monitor out or look out for, right, would be for this, right? The 20 days moving average, now it is showing some signs of short-term weakness, right? You can see that it's starting to point or slope down a little bit, right? What we want to also monitor and look out for would be for this, right, to actually, you know, kind of like flatten out a bit, right? To kind of flatten out, because longer term trend, no issue lah. Both are actually still pointing up. But for short term trend, if it starts to flatten out a bit and it holds above this trading support, right, then this is where you want to set price alert to notify yourself to maybe take some action and accumulate some position, right? Right over here. And upside targets, as long as it's able to hold above this support zone, right, I think upside target, immediate target that we are looking at will be towards this 300. It could be about 316 right over here to about 320, whereby it's a psychological level. So this would be what we call a zone, whereby you can also consider to actually take some profits if prices actually rebounds back up. All right, so that would be for JP Morgan. Ian, I hope that helps. Some of the levels that you can take note of. So far, it's still looking okay, and especially so when you have a very low average cost price. All right, so that would be for JP Morgan. Passing back over to you, Joey, for the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Let's move on to the next one, and that would be asked by Ugly Duckling. All right, let's see, right? For PWR, right? PWR. So PWR, the code is PWR, and the name is Quanta Services, right? Quanta Services, right over here on my chart, right? So it looks overpriced, should be on an uptrend. You're looking to start a position, right? Looking for whether is it a good entry now, all right, or maybe to enter upon a price pullback, right? So thank you so much, Ugly Duckling, for just giving us a little bit of a context. Really appreciate it, right? So let's go to cover this right now. In fact, this is the first time I'm looking at this stock right over here, $437. So you can see that I think not too bad, right? We had a bullish signal coming out in April, right over here. all the way up, finally a bearish signal. So if you ask me like, you know, in August or September that you want to buy, I'll probably say to wait first, right? Why? Because we got a bearish signal. I mean, after that, from the first bullish signal in April, all the way up here, 44% in about 3 months, right? And then you tell me you want to buy here and here and here, I'll probably say wait first lah, right? Why? Because the green 20 days moving average line was up. Was down, right? Was down, right? And we got a bearish signal. After 3-4 months, we got a bearish signal. So why do you want to rush, right? So be patient, right? Even though the longer term trend was up, no problem, right? But we want to be patient because we want to wait for the trends to align, right? To align. Now, let's take a look at what has happened over the past few weeks. And in fact, I think one of you were asking a question as well. Let's see, right? I think Kevin asking a question. How many 1GT bullish signal then can consider high risk to enter? I think maybe your question would be like, how many bullish signals then would be a higher conviction kind of trade, is it? Because when we have more bullish signals, it's not high risk, but it'll be more conviction for that particular trade, right? So the question will be like, how many? Is it 1, 2, 3, 5? So for me, it's very simple. When we got the first 1GT bullish signal, all right, well, that could be a very good first confirmation that we're indeed starting to see a bit of a reversal, especially after trading lower, when we get a bearish signal, right? But if we have a few more new 1GT bullish signals coming out, like not 1, but 2, 3, 4, that time got 7, right? Look at what happened, all the way up. So when we get a more bullish signals coming out, right, and all the other confirmations that we seek as well start to show as well, that will be even better, right? So it's not just like a number, like 1, 2, 5 is better. I mean, of course, 3 and 1, 3 is better lah, right? But it's not just like the number 3 or 4, because let's say you have 2 confirmations, right? Or maybe let's say you got two bullish signals, but it's not just the bullish signals we're looking at, right? We're looking at other confirmations, we're looking at the trend, we're looking at some other things that will be covered in the book launch tomorrow as well, all right? In terms of other secrets, we have a 7-step checklist that breaks it all down. So we look at other things as well, right? So even if you have like 2 bullish signals, but if other confirmations or other steps in the checklist don't tick, then maybe not, right? But maybe you might have, 2 bullish signals, but the rest of the other confirmations looks good. And then that's even better as well. Does it make sense, All right, but in general, yeah, if we have more bullish signal, it is better than having 1 lah. All right, Ken? Okay, now let me go back to this stock that is asked by Ugly Duckling, right? PWR. So you can see that Ugly Duckling, right, over the past 1 month, we got not 1, not 2, but we got 3 1GT bullish signal, right? So not too bad. The green 20 days moving average line, that was down in August and September, right? Flattened out for, about 2 weeks in September. Well, when we got the first bullish signal coming out, about $400, it started to stop up. Up. I think right now we are starting to see that reversal, right? On top of that, we got 2 new bullish signals coming out. So yeah, I think what you say is true, right? It looks a little bit overpriced, all right? It might be a bit more uncomfortable to get in. Why? Because it's a bit more expensive, right? And most people, the mindset is like that, right? Because it's a bit, it's a bit more expensive. So you might think that you're buying at a high, right? But the truth is that we are focusing on stocks that are in an uptrend. We are buying into strength, right? Not buying cheap, right? Because cheap can become cheaper in the market, right? So that's one thing about the core belief in terms of the entire one good trend strategy, right? We buy into strength. It might be a bit uncomfortable because it's overpriced. But that's exactly the shift in mindset that we need to have. And we're going to focus on stocks like this, right? So we got 3 bullish signals. Long-term trend is up. Short-term trend is up. Well, I would say right now, perhaps we might be seeing a resistance at about $450, right? 450 seems like that's where we have been capped over the past 1 week. So my take is very simple. I think if we can break the 450, we go to 452, 455, 45 something, 46 something, right? Basically above 450, that will be where we may even trigger a new 1GT bullish signal. And that will be where we can give even more, that will be another confirmation of even more upside. And targets could be raised all the way to like 500 or maybe to 550 as well. All right, so I think it looks quite okay. All right, potential entry if you want. Maybe we could see a bit of a support coming up. Maybe right over here, I think about 400, that's where we've seen the bullish signals appear. We could turn on the trailing support as well, just to get a bit of an understanding. Yep, right over here, you can see 400 is where the trailing support is as well, right? There's some space between the price and the trailing support. Why? Because as I said, this trailing support, it follows a stock as it moves up, right? But don't follow too closely, give it some breathing space, and it follows it higher. So right now, 400 would be a trailing support, also where the horizontal support is. So if it does dip there, well, that could be a good entry. But don't ask me whether you'll dip there for you to buy. I really don't know, right? But if it does dip there, good entry. Potentially, if you see even the bullish candles coming out there, even better. That would give more confirmation of that rebound all the way to 450. Hopefully, 450 breaks. It could be poised to hit even higher. I mean, take a look at this. Look at this, right? Pump, bullish signal, trailing support started to pop up, follow all the way. And finally, we got a bearish signal. So let's see if this will happen next if we were to break the 450. All right. So ugly duckling, I hope you got a better opinion on this stock called Quanta Services, PWR. Right. And yeah, one thing I want to say, guys, is that make sure you have secured your spot for the One Good Trend Secrets book launch. And that's where we actually can break it all down for you. I'll break down into the 7-step checklist, show to you guys the entire framework, and we'll look at some live case studies as well. All right, so the link is right in the chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. All right, for the One Good Trend Secrets book launch that I've been talking about. Okay, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stock. Bervyn, all yours.
Thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. AK has a question here. Okay, I bought ORCL just yesterday at 309, but the closing is bad. Should I cut loss? All right, okay. AK hopefully is still here. Okay, I saw that. I was looking at it just now when you said closing was bad. Yeah. Okay, this is the closing price, but actually, in fact, after market prices have fallen a little bit more. So I guess I understand why you're thinking that the closing is bad. All right, so I think so far it looks like after that previous gap up, right in September as well, early September as well, we can see that prices have retraced quite a little bit, but it found somewhat of a support, somewhat of a temporary support closer to that 280 level. We found a little bit of a bias coming back in. Got one rather bullish candlestick showing up right here, and prices took off a little bit further. But as of yesterday close, it looks like a little bit of sellers have come in, a little bit of a weakness as well. The upside, I think, would be drawn to that 340 first. So my understanding is their management have provided some forecast of their revenue. I think a little bit light according to some analysts. I'm not too sure. So I think that's why prices have fallen a little bit. But in the general sense, if we just look at the moving average, we still have that 20 days moving average still sloping up. All right, it's definitely not as steep as it was in September leading up to now, but it's still starting to slope up a little bit. The longer term trend definitely still looks intact, right? The longer term trend, since that 1GT signal in May, it went up, or it shot up very, very quickly. I think we are in a little bit of a consolidation phase right now, with the longer term trend still very much, pointing up at this point. So I think prices may find that support right back at that 280 again if selling continues. But I think in the general sense, as long as prices are able to hold above that 280 level, I think we should be holding up very well, and the upside towards the 340 can continue to hold as well. So if you are thinking of cutting loss, all right, okay, just turn on that trailing support. Right, you can see that trailing support is right about that 267 level. So I think placing a stop limit order, right? Placing a stop limit order under that 267 level could be a good downside protection for you at this point. All right, so but definitely if that trailing support is broken, then not so good already. Right, so actually, in fact, you can also just set up a very, very quick alert. Right, just set up a very quick alert, not just a price alert. You can set up a 1GT Pro indicator alert where you will be alerted to any new buy or sell signals. Why you want buy or sell signals? Because definitely if prices is able to continue their nearer term momentum and test that 340 level and break above it, you may receive that second 1GT bullish signal coming right in, and then you want to start shifting your stop limit order up as well. So I think you just got in. I mean, definitely would rather prefer to get in at that 280 level. We got in a little bit higher at 309, a little bit of in between that support and resistance. But no problem right there. I think you want to just protect your downside, because you have to understand that their losses or your losses will be slightly wider because of the entry as well. All right, so no problem there as long as the 340 level is able to break. So where would prices be able to head towards if that 340 level gives way? It's a simple projection upwards here. I think definitely that 400 psychological level will be my next target as well for Oracle Corporation. I think so far so good. I think you can expect a little bit of, I think it's normal, I would say, to expect a little bit of consolidation as prices continue to move sideways on the longer term trend still is intact. So I hope that quick one helps for Oracle Corporation. All right, AK. I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, so the next stock over here will be by Bossa Nova, right? Spotify, is it time to add position now since the bearish signal has appeared? Okay, so let's take a look at Spotify. All right, so Bossa Nova, you're right. There is a 1GT bearish signal, and I think it just came out. Yeah, it just came out yesterday, right? As of yesterday on 16th of October, right over here, right? But for Spotify, right, longer term trend, definitely it still looks good. I don't have to really talk about the longer term trend. You all can see that the red and blue line is definitely still pointing up, right? Ever since quite some time back, since 2023, right? But short term trend wise, right, definitely we are seeing some weakness, right, and some fluctuation even at the start of the year, whereby you right over here, right, 20 days strength. After that, if we trace back, we got bearish signal, right, kind of like go down, hit sideways. Then short term strength return once again, weakness, and then it went sideways, right? It went sideways for a bit, and now it is actually, if I were to zoom in a bit, let's see over here. You can see that the 20 days moving average, right, has started to show some sort of signs of it pointing down and sloping down, right? And as of last night as well, we can see that the 20 days moving average has crossed below the red one, right? Just starting only, right? Just starting, it is attempting to cross below the 100 days moving average right over here. So in terms of short term wise, I would say definitely not that great lah. And plus, we got a confirmation from the 1GT bearish signal, right? That the trend now not that good, at this point in time, right? So if you're thinking of adding position, can, but maybe what you want to monitor is for a few confirmations to come out first before taking action, right? Number one would be definitely to find out where's the support level, where's your support level that you should even take note of the price zone or the buy zone, right? Where is the potential buy zone that we want to take note of? I think that would be somewhere around this 620, maybe to even this like 645. This zone right over here, right over here. I would say this near the support zone, right? This would be one of the levels, right, that you can potentially set some price alert, right? Maybe price alert at maybe 625, 623, 640, like all this level right over here, this price zone right over here. All right, this is where you can potentially accumulate some positions. But before that, the other thing, apart from this buy zone, the other thing that we want to take note of would be for this 20 days moving average, right, to come down like that and flatten out, right, and flatten out first. Right, that would be another confirmation for you to take note of. If let's say price actually come down here, right, then the 20 days moving average for this one, we want to see it to flatten out first. And of course, even better if let's say, right, we can see a 1GT bullish signal coming out, that will give you another layer of conviction, right, that not too bad. That is where we can actually accumulate more position, right? So those are the confirmations that we want to see. Not saying that if we see a 1GT bearish and we think that price is cheap now, okay, I will faster want to buy, right? You can buy, but the thing is that what if you buy already, prices continue to fall lower and then it breaks support, and then probably that would be where you might be sitting on unrealized losses, and people might be asking like, hey, what happened? What should I do now, right? The thing is that we want to buy, correct? We want to buy, but we want to look for confirmation and more conviction for us to actually take action, right? Not just anyhow buy, and not just because there's a 1GT bearish signal, we buy, right? Okay. So okay, so those is the support zone that I just mentioned. Maybe those are some of the levels that you want to take note of. And in terms of resistance and target wise, where do we want to look out for, right? I think over the past couple of months, since August, right over here, we can see that there's actually quite a strong resistance, somewhere around this 740 level right over here. You can see that there is multiple candlesticks, right? There always has been testing, and selling pressure is just always present over there, right? So I would say that this 740, it has to break above this 740 first before we are able to see more upside, and we can raise our targets towards the $800 psychological level. All right, so this would be where we can potentially position ourselves, for sell zone, right? This could be a potential sell zone, and this, like I mentioned, would be a potential buy zone, right? And the range that we are looking at would be about a 20%, right? About 20% range that they are looking at. All right. So for Sanova, I hope that helps to give you some idea of how you can actually go ahead to craft your trading plan. But of course, always remember to protect your downside. Okay. Always remember to have your stop loss plan in place as well. Okay. So that would be for Spotify. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
Okay, very good. Now let's move on to the next one, and that would be this stock right over here. That's asked by Jeannie, right? Jeannie, let me just pull out Jeannie Tan. Hi. You bought Google, all right? So I believe it's GOOGL, Alphabet, right? Alphabet Google at $192, right? Should I sell now or hold, right? Let's find out. Let's find out. So you can see the Google price is $251.46. So not too bad. Congrats, right? You bought 192, now it's 251. Sure, make money, all right? So congrats. Now let's see what you should do right now, right? Should you take some profit? Should you sell some? Maybe keep some. Maybe can go up higher, right? Let's find out. So you can see that for Google, well, we have already turned on the 1GT Pro indicator. As I say, yeah, for any asset classes, that's what me, Bervyn and Zee have been doing, right? We're using the One Good Trend Pro indicator. Find out more tomorrow, all right? We have a book launch live tomorrow, right? So find out tomorrow, register. The link is right in the chat. But this is where, for any asset classes, right? Turn it on, turn it off, it disappears, it comes back again in 1 second, all right? Just to give you a quick opinion. So you can see right now for Alphabet Google, well, the most recent bullish signal would be somewhere around May, all right? We got bearish signal before that. So in February, not good. Like that one you say buy them, I would say probably don't want now because we got two bearish signal. The green 20 days moving average line was down, down, down. And I think Z mentioned as well, right? If you get bearish signal plus then the green line is down, and if you just want to rush in to buy because you purposely want to buy something today or what, right? Then you might get stuck lah. All right? So you can see it went down not for 1 week, 2 weeks, but for like 3 months, right? So we have no idea how low it can go before that strength comes back, before that reversal confirmation comes back. So why not wait until you come back, then you get in, all right? So that was what happened, right? You got a bullish signal, went up, another bullish signal. I think that's probably when you get in, somewhere around here, 192, right, Ginny? I'm not too sure whether you're a graduate of mine, but yeah, I think maybe you got in right over here when we got another bullish signal, push up, and now it's 251. So let's take a look at what you do right now. So quite clearly, I would say that the resistance, right? We have seen a bit of a resistance for Google, right? GOOGL. Why? Well, quite clearly you can see that the green 20 days moving average line that represents the short-term trend that's been pointing up since May, right? Up, flat a little bit, up, all right? Over the past 2 weeks, well, it has started to flatten now, right? Flatten out. I mean, it's not really like pointing down, right? But I would say it is a flattening out. Does it make sense? What does this mean? This means that Alphabet, all right, GOOGL has turned from an uptrend in the short term to a sideways trend in the short term. It just means that we are in some form of a sideways consolidation in the short term, right? So longer term trend, no problem. Red and blue, I think you can see yourself, no problem, right? That's cool, right? No problem, right? But the short term trend is resting a bit, it's taking a bit of a breather. I mean, how many percent from here all the way to here? 62%, let it rest a while. Okay, right? 62%, let it rest a while, right? So it's taking a break in the short term, consolidating sideways, all right? And resistance wise will be quite clearly, I would say, let me just go to expand this a little bit, right? 255, it seems like 255, all right, maybe about 255, a bit of a resistance there, all the way to maybe the trailing support levels. Let's turn it on and take a look, right? You can see that this trailing support that has popped out, right, for Alphabet since May. It's been following up, right? Follow up, follow. And now it is right over here at 235. So the range is quite clearly 235 to 255. $20 235 to 255. And now is like kind of like near the 255. I think yesterday we hit it there, and then sellers came back again, right? So you see, yesterday the high was at about 256, and then sellers came back and it went down again, right? So I think this 255 is quite important now. Right? Every time we go there, we come back down. Yesterday go there, also come back down. Right? So 255 would be a resistance level for now. Support would be anything near 235. I think that is where the trailing support. In fact, just last week we hit it there and we pushed away from it, right? So this trailing support that gives the stock the breathing space to breathe, right? It is being respected again for now, right? We have pushed away from it and we are still consolidating, right? So for me, it's very simple. So right now, I would say that for Ginny, what you could do, two things, right? First thing, take steps to protect your profits, right? Your sitting on profits lah. All right, so you want to make sure that you protect your profits. You don't want to let it go all the way back down, then back to your 192 or maybe 18 something, then you lose money, right? Don't want like that, huh? So you want to make sure you protect your profits. How can you do it? Well, you could set what we call a stop loss just to protect the downside. You could put a stop limit order, stop loss below what we call the trailing support level, right? And that's simply by putting this line right over here. You can put it like maybe about 230, 228, right? That's just below the trailing support, give it a little bit more space just to protect the downside. That's what you could do, right? Take steps to protect your profits. The next thing you could do, Jeannie, would be to take some profit, right? Nothing wrong, because as I say, we are in a sideways short-term consolidation, right? From 235 to 255. In fact, as I said yesterday, it went to like near 255 and come back down, all right? So we are in a sideways consolidation, right? So resistance is 255. So you want to take some profit near 255, I think nothing wrong lah. You want to take some profit at 252, 254, 25 something, right? Up to you, right? You can take some profit, nothing wrong. Maybe wait for a pullback, you can get in again cheaper a bit, right? So that is what you could do. You take some profit, because the point here is that we have no idea how long this short-term sideways consolidation will go, right? It could be 1 week, could be 2 weeks, it could be maybe next week we break the 255 and push higher. So nobody knows, right? It could be 2 months, 5 months, nobody knows. So you could just be consolidating. So you can take some profit near resistance for the balance shares that you have. Well, allow it to ride some more, right? Protect your profits to the downside, have a stop loss, of course. And if we were to break 255, I think that would be good. We may even see a new 1GT bullish signal appearing, and that could lead the next phase of upside. And that's where you could have the balance shares to ride even further to maximize your profits. Does it make sense, well, Ginny? All right, I hope that helps. So that will be for Alphabet, all right, GOOGL, Google as well. I hope you have a better opinion. All right, so let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next stock.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, let's see. Let's continue that trend. Amazon, any chance to go up? Great. Amazon, one of the other Magnificent 7 stocks. Okay, so a little bit of weakness actually just on the first look coming in for Amazon with that 1GT bearish signal and that 20 days moving average already starting to slope down. And notice this, that 20 days moving average have indeed started to indeed cross below that 100 days moving average. The 200 days moving average has seen better days. I mean, it's a little bit flat now, but that 100 days moving average is still pointing up. So I think a little bit of profit taking came in as prices approach that 240 resistance level, right? Not just once. I think in February there was once prices approached it, second time in July, third time in September, and right now we are back to close to that 210 level. So is this a buy? Would you consider this as a buy? I think right now, I may not want to get into position just yet. All right, just yet. Why? Is because, like I said, that 1GT bearish signal is still present, and if prices breaks below that 210 level, it can indeed go down further, as you can see right there in March, as prices tested the 240 level, did not manage to break above it. Prices quickly head down, broke below that 210 level, and then also can head towards that 160 level. Will that happen again? I think it's hard to say, but there are special circumstances during that period, like the tariffs and whatnot. But definitely this level, this 210, is where buyers are trying to look to defend as well. All right, so if we start to move in a sideways pattern, you will start to see that 20 days moving average flatten out and then start to point up. I think that is where I think you get a little bit more conviction that the nearer term trend is back in play, or the nearer term momentum is back in play, and prices could head back to that 240 240 level next. But I think for now, it still looks a little bit weak. So you want just take a back seat. I would say take a back seat. I think there are other counters to actually just watch out for as well. So for Amazon, I think nothing much of a movement unless we break below that 210. Then I think not too good lah. Yeah. So I think very, very quick one for Amazon. I think still can be on your watch list. Just no immediate moves. All right, Hari. So pass the time now to Z to cover the next stock.
All right, thanks, Bervyn. Okay, So let me share my screen over here, and I have the next stock over here that is CLS Celestica by Glenn, right? Planning to long, so thinking about buying lah. Okay, so this stock, right, actually it is definitely still, on Joey's and Bervyn's and our watch list, our team watch list basically for this particular stock as well. Because as you can see over here, this stock, right, still looking not too bad, right? Because the red and the blue line, longer term trend still intact. The green line is actually also still intact, right? And it's still pointing up as well. I mean, it did flatten out a bit, right? It go up, and then here it flattened out for a few weeks, and now it's showing signs of it pointing back up again. So, and plus on top of that, we get 2 consecutive 1GT bullish signal. So definitely this stock is still remaining in our watch list. But let's take a look at where are some of the levels that you can potentially take note of for Glenn if you are thinking about entering a position. All right. So right over here, yesterday we actually saw price gap up, and it closed at 278. It's 279. Sorry, yeah, it closed at 279 right over here. Yesterday, I gap up. Let me see. Just why did it gap up? Oh, probably because of this price target announced at 340 shares by Goldman Sachs. Right, initiated a buy by Goldman Sachs. So sometimes, right, this kind of analyst ratings and like banks, right, when they actually give new analyst ratings and things like that, it might actually trigger and act as a catalyst for stocks to actually go up or go down. That is one of the reasons. I mean, of course, there could be other factors as well, such as the entire market sentiment and whether Trump, announce something and affect the entire market, right? That could be catalyst as well. But these are also some of the catalysts that you can take note of, right? Maybe just a quick glance at the latest updates to have a look as well. All right. So for Celestica over here, right, as you can see previously, for this stock, we have actually drawn our resistance right over here, right, at 260. Why we draw this 260? Because since September, right, you can see that it has consistently been testing this 260, but unable to break above it. So this 260, right, is a very strong resistance, I would say, right? It's a very strong resistance. And right over here, you can see this red color box, right? This is where we did mention that, this is where you can potentially take some profits if, some of you are already in some position, all right? And now that price have actually broken above this 260, right? Actually, I should change this to green. Why? Because it has turned to what we call a higher support, right? So a new higher support has been found, right? It has broken above this 260. Is it still holding above 260? Yes. Right, it's still holding above that. And if you are thinking about potentially entering a position, you want to take note of levels, right? Support levels. So now that we have established that, this 260 is a new higher support level, this is where we could potentially position ourselves for entry by setting some price alert near the new higher support, which is around this level, right? This zone right over here. So let me just maybe very quickly add in alert as well. So 260, maybe you can put at multiple level, right? 264, 265. This could be one, right? I just added one alert right over here, and then maybe let me add another at 266, right? So this is when it will actually alert me if prices were to retrace back to this potential support zone for me to enter a position, all right? And in terms of resistance wise, right, we put it at 300. Number one, because 300 is a psychological level, right? And number two, I think it is based on, you see this range right over here, right? You actually project it up, and it is also close to the 300. So 300 will be, I would say, the immediate target or the immediate level that you want to take note of. If prices can indeed continue if like that, hold above and reach 300, this is where you can potentially consider to take some profits as well near the resistance zone. So this could be, it's very simply like one of the trading plan already, right? And of course, make sure to have your downside place, downside risk management in check, right? To have your downside place whereby you want to have a stop loss, right? Stop loss. Maybe it could be slightly below your support level as well, right? So this could be a very simple trading plan right there for you, Glenn, to actually think about, right? But of course, we don't want to chase, right? Because especially now price is a bit not here, not there. It's somewhere between 260 and 300. You want to be patient. You want to be patient and wait for the right time and the potential zones that we want to enter and exit. Okay, so Glenn, I hope that helps to give you some things to think about for this Celestica. Overall, it still looks pretty good and pretty bullish with 2 1GT bullish signals still playing out. Overall, long-term, short-term trends still intact. I think now is more so of playing the waiting game, right? And to be more patient and to see whether price will actually head back to the potential buy zone for you to take some action. Okay, so that would be Celestica. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, let me go ahead to do a quick recap. Let me do a quick recap, guys, on the past, I would say, 15 stocks, right? So we've covered 15 stocks as of now. All right, my apologies, guys, if we cannot cover all your stocks. No, just by looking at all the chat messages, I did a quick count. There's more than 50, 60 over stocks. So we'll maybe go one more last round, last 3 stocks that you guys are asking about. Right? And after that, we go to the bonus stocks at the end by me, Bervyn and Zee will share with you, right? So for those of you who have gone through your stocks, great. But if you have not gone through your stocks, my apologies. Hopefully, you can join us tomorrow, whereby we have what we call an AMAS session. So I share with you guys a little bit on tomorrow. Just see, right? Tomorrow on the 18th of October, right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we'll be going live. We'll be going live on YouTube, right? In fact, let me just quickly share with you my screen, right? And this is what we'll be doing, right, on this live studio right over here, right? So Tim, can just place the link in the chat again, right? So what happens is that we'll go live right over here, and this is pretty much the link in the chat. Click on it, you'll come to this page right over here, right? We'll be live on this studio from 740K depth to 7 figures. I pretty much break down the entire one good trend secrets checklist, right? The 7-step plan that we have, the confirmations that we seek, the tool that we use as well in this live training tomorrow. All right. So what happens is that I would say for the first 3 hours, we'll be talking about the strategy. We'll give live case studies, live analysis, and somewhere at the end as well. So it's 6 hours. There'll be no breaks, right? Maybe a 5 minutes break. That's all, right? But we'll have what we call an AMAS session at the end. That means we have Ask Me Any Stock. Bervyn and Zee, right, will be with me as well, right? All the way maybe at about 2 p.m., 1 p.m. plus, right? That's where we'll dive into what we call the Q&A and the Ask Me Any Stock session, whereby that's where we have more time to cover the stocks that you guys are asking about, right? It could be Singapore, it could be US, it could be crypto, Bitcoin, or whatever. Doesn't matter, right? That's where we have more time. So do join us. Do join us tomorrow live, 10 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. for 6 hours. The link is right in the chat, right? The link is right in the chat, and that's where I look forward to share more with you. And then hopefully we have more time to cover the stocks that you guys that we don't have time to cover today. Sounds good? All right, Ken. So that will be this thing that will be happening tomorrow, right? One Good Trend Secrets book launch, right? One Good Trend Secret along the link, all right? The link is right in the chat. Okay, now let me just go ahead to share the 15 stocks that we have covered today. So right at the beginning, right, I covered the markets, the S&P 500 index, right? And the very first stock I covered after that would be the stock called Poet Technology, right? Name is P-O-E-T. There's a quote, right? Bervyn covered on Root, R-O-O-T, right? Rigetti Computing, Futu, Intel Corporation, Micron, right? And I covered this stock called DNN, right? I think it's called Denison Mines, okay? And Bervyn covered on BigBear.ai, Zee covered JP Morgan, Quanta Services, PWR is a code, Oracle, Spotify, Alphabet, right? GOOGL, Amazon, and finally, Zee just covered Celestica. All right, so that will be the 15 stocks for today. Let me go ahead to do one last final round before we talk about the bonus stocks that you guys can put in your watch list. And the next stock will be this stock right over here. Let me just pull out right in the chat who's asking about it. I think AK asking about it, right? Well, I also bought Palantir, PLTR at 170. Should I hold or sell today? All right. Let me just answer some questions in the chat. I think some of you are asking like, Jing Long, tomorrow the talk is online or offline? Good question. Online. All right. So the link is right in the chat. We're going live on YouTube. We got a studio all set up ready. We have prepared over the past few months. Really excited to share more with you guys in terms of all the secrets in this book, right? And break it all down for you in terms of the one good trend strategy as well. All right, Ken. Let's see, first, last, same YouTube, no need to register. Well, it'll be good to register. The link is right in the chat. That's where we can send you the reminder emails and the link to join us on YouTube live as well. So first, last, click on the link, register. You get a confirmation email. I think that'll be better as well. All right, so you don't miss out. But yes, it's on YouTube. All right, cool. Okay, let me move back to AK question, right? Palantir. You bought it at $170. Should I hold or sell today? So you bought at 170, now it's about 178. Okay, good, right? So a little bit of profits, but let's take a look at whether there could be potentially more upside. So for Palantir, right, I think it's been a pretty good longer term uptrend since last year. Look at the red and the blue line. And these are stocks that we like, all right? Stocks that has proven themselves in an uptrend, stocks that are pushing higher, you know, higher lows, higher highs. Well, we might have a couple of bearish signals coming out. It might pull down a little bit in the short term. But when we get new bullish signals coming out, look at this, pump, all the way up, right? How many percent would that be, right? From April all the way to the bearish signal recently, 88%. 88% in 4 months, all right? And then get out, take some profit. Why? Because we got a bearish signal, right? The green line started to flatten out, went down a little bit. But let's take a look at what has happened over the past over month. Well, we got finally a new 1GT bullish signal. So not too bad, right? Now the longer term trend is up. The short term trend, you can see, started to point up a little bit, but over the past few days, in terms of some market weakness, well, the green line, I would say, slightly pointing up, maybe a little bit flat. We are back to a bit of a sideways consolidation, but at least we got a new 1GT bullish signal coming out. So right now, I would say that the horizontal support level would be around the 170. Let me just turn this to green in color. I think 170 would be where we have been hovering above over the past 3 weeks, right? In fact, that's where we hit it then, and buyers came out over the past 3 days as well. 170 all the way to 190. Seems like it's a $20 range again, 170 to 190. So I think back to your question, right, AK? Should I hold or sell today? Well, I think, if you want to take some profit near 190, that's fine. That's where we have seen selling over the past 3 weeks, right? 185, 18 something. You want to sell near 190, nothing wrong, right? But I think for me now, I would say that it looks good, right? The bullish signal is still in play. What you could do is to set some alerts, right? Set some alerts, especially if it breaks the 190, right? We go to 191, 192, 195, right? That is where I think potentially we may see a new bullish signal that could lead the next upside phase. And that's where targets could be revised maybe all the way, maybe even to 210 or to even that 220. All right. So this would be Palantir, right? One of the stocks that I get asked quite often on, PLTR. Not too bad. Finally, a new bullish signal came out after the bearish one in August. Trend indicators in terms of the moving averages are all starting to point up as well. So support 170 all the way to 190. Okay, so I hope that helps. AK, let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover the next US stock. Bervyn, yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, let me just throw my screen up there. Let's see. Okay. Hi, Catherine. So no position in Meta right now, looking to buy. All right. Okay, let's see right here. Okay, before that, let me just answer this question by Jing Long first. So if tomorrow I miss the talk, I can still view it on YouTube. Yes, you can still view it on YouTube, but unfortunately, there will not be any engagement with you if you are just watching a replay. And then, of course, any offers that is revealed during the live show itself will not be applicable. Am I right, Joey?
Yeah, good one. Good question, right, Jing Long? I think tomorrow, guys, as I say, is official book launch of One Good Trade Secrets. Right? Why do you want to join live? Well, essentially, this is something that I don't usually do often, all right? And I'll be sharing things that I don't usually do public as well, all right? So if you join us live, that's what you'll learn. And not only that, guys, you will be kind of like getting more than $7,000 of bonuses for free, right? If you grab a copy tomorrow during the live launch. So definitely, right, if you stay all the way there tomorrow, we'll have what we call a lucky draw as well. Some fun things that we have planned, all right? You get $7,000 worth of bonuses only if you secure your book during the live launch. Of course, we'll share more and break it all down tomorrow, right? So you definitely want to join live, all right? If you don't want to miss out on all the bonuses and some of the things that we talk about as well, right? And plus, there will be like AMAS session, Ask Me Any Stock session. You can engage, participate. I think that's where you'll get more value. All right, Ken. So, Bervyn, back to you.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's see. Sorry, Catherine, let's go. No position in Meta right now, looking to buy. Okay, so Catherine, hopefully you're still with us here. We can actually see that how many 1GT bearish signals are there currently? 1, 2, 3. Pretty much very consecutive 1GT bearish signals actually showing up. All right, so for Meta, not the best sign right now. All right, so there is a little bit of a weakness still going on. We are looking, or buyers are looking to defend that $700 psychological level. All right. So what actually jumps out to me right here is on the 14th of October, there is like a doji candlestick. So then there is what we call a little bit of indecisiveness among the participants in the market at the same time. So we have been consolidating at these levels since the start of October. We haven't break below it just yet, or will we break below it? I'm not too sure. But right there on this day, on the 6th of October, all right, this will be in 6th of October, we actually see prices briefly broke below that $700 level, and buyers quickly coming back in to push prices back up, closing above the $700 level. All right, so the 20 days moving average is already starting to slope down, and it looks to cross or looks to test that 100 days moving average, that red line. So of course, if prices continue to stay within this level or even break below the $700 level, that 20 days moving average will definitely cross below that 100 days moving average already. So where would that next support be? All right, I would say the next support level could be around the 660, 650 to 650, 650 to about 660 level could be the next support level to actually watch out for. All right, so just want to be a little bit more careful. I think first thing first, let's set up some alerts to alert ourselves if that $700 level is broken. But if we are able to see prices consolidate for a little bit, maybe a few more weeks, 1 or 2 more days also possible, and then start to head back up higher. All right, head higher again, then we definitely could see that 20 days moving average maybe rebounding from that 100 days moving average, and then starting to point up again, so that shorter term momentum could resume, in your favor as well. So let me just turn on that trailing support and resistance right here. You can see that the trailing resistance is right around that 770 level, 768, but let's call it 770 level. So if prices were to break above the 770 level, then maybe we will see, all right, we will just see another 1 GT bullish signal, or a new 1 GT bullish signal coming right in, and then the $800 target would be tested. Again, that longer term target, I have drawn it to about 850 first. 850 first. So definitely, if prices hit back up higher, I think you can position yourself for entry. But I think right now, let's take a back seat first. Let's see if prices can indeed push a little bit higher. It's okay to buy a little bit more expensive. Buy a little bit more expensive is fine, long as there is more confirmation at the same time. All right, Catherine, hopefully that helps for Meta platforms. I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the last requested stock for today before we move on to our bonus stocks.
All right, awesome. Great. Thanks, Bervyn. Okay, so the last one that I have before I pass the time back over to Joey, right, would be from Evelyn, right? Evelyn, I hope you're still here. You're asking about this stock called NBIS, right, which is Navius Group. My price is 136.5. All right, so let's take a look at this stock. All right, I'm not too sure exactly the details of this stock, right, but very quickly on a quick glance, I can see that this stock is a technology company stock, and it is very AI centric. They provide services to AI builders worldwide, right? So it's more of like technology, cloud, and AI related, right? So I believe that is the reason also why you can see, like, more interest started returning to this counter, right, over the past few months, right? Because previously for this stock, right, if you were to see right over here, right, it was actually in a downtrend, and then after that, subsequently, right, here, this is where we actually started to see the longer term moving average cross above each other as a confirmation for the longer term trend is actually turning up, right? And then the 20 days moving average has also started to show signs of it pointing up again, and all three moving averages, right, are actually aligned, right? And at this point in time, we have how many? 3 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal, and they are actually still playing out. Currently, no bearish, right? And all these three right over here, as you all can see, are all actually pointing up, right? So you mentioned that you bought at, let me see, 136.5. So 136.5. Wow, you bought somewhere very close to the resistance. I believe somewhere here, and price yesterday closed at 123. Okay, then probably you're sitting on some unrealized losses, and you're thinking whether should you cut loss, should you hold, what should you do, right? Okay, so before you actually enter any position, by right, you should already have a stop loss plan in place, okay? Because that is when you enter is easy, but always have to think about stop loss to actually protect your downside should anything happen and should the stock suddenly reverse, all right? So I'm not too sure if you have a stop loss plan in place already, or maybe you have a stop loss price in place, but perhaps we can actually go through some of the levels that you can take note of, and maybe that is where you can actually use it to assist you in your stop loss price, all right? Okay, so for this Navius, right, Navius, we can see that over here, right, I've drawn a couple of lines, right, Firstly, definitely will be $100, right? This will be one of the psychological support level, right? You can see that previously prices actually right over here attempt to break, but unable to. Selling pressure came in, push price back down, and then retested again right over here, and eventually it broke above it on the 23rd of September, right? So I have drawn one, definitely $100, which is a psychological support. The next one that I've drawn will be over here at around, I think 116, 115, 116, this level right over here. I would say that this would be considered what I call immediate support level. Why? Because as you can see, right over here, price tested this level, break above it, right? And then subsequently on this day, 7th of October, this was where it was pretty bearish, right? We got a very long bearish candlestick. Selling pressure came back in, but it got stopped here, right? Buyers came in to support the prices near this 116 level. So I would say 116 will be the immediate support level that perhaps, Evelyn, you might want to take note of. All right. And the resistance very clearly is at near the 140 lah, right? 140, this is where we see a very long upper shadow, right, on this very red candlestick. So selling pressure, it means that selling pressure is present there to push the price back down during the trading session, right? So 140 would be the immediate resistance to take note of. All right. So for NBIS, at this point in time, overall, the trend definitely still looks good, right? I mean, the green, the red, and the blue line all still looks good. And we still got 3 consecutive 1GT bullish signal. And we know that price now, I mean, yes, it has been retracing, and unfortunately, it bought somewhere near the resistance, right? It pulled back, but it is still indeed holding above this $116 support level, right? So perhaps for your case, you might want to consider to have your stop loss, it could be slightly below the support level as well, which is near the 116, right? Because of course, by right, you should also do your position sizing and all your risk management before thinking about buying into any stock, right? Before when you actually place the order, all right? So this is where you can consider to place your stop limit order to protect your downside, right? Slightly below the 116. But of course, if you have a larger risk appetite and you want to base off the trading support, right? Let me just show you. I turn on the trading support right over here. We can see that the trading support is somewhere very close to the $100. And I say that $100 is a psychological level, right? I mean, of course, this is also where you can place your stop loss level, but see, it will be about a 20% drop. It will be about a 20% drop already. So it depends, right? Some people, when they do position sizing, they already accounted for this 20%. So it is okay for them to actually place a stop loss slightly below the $100. But I'm not too sure about whether you got considered the position sizing or not, right? Whether is it accounted for already? Because otherwise, the other way that you can consider would be use the support level, the immediate support level, around this 116, and that is where you can consider to have your stop loss in place. And typically it could be about 2 to 3% or even 5%, depending on risk appetite, because no right or wrong, everybody risk appetite different. Some people, they could be 2% enough. Some people, it could be okay, I want to give it a bit more allowance, 5%, right? So just make sure that you have a stop loss plan in place. If it were to break below the 116, then potentially you might see more weakness and downside back towards the 100. But if it breaks below this 100, then I think this is where you need to consider to actually reduce exposure for this particular stock, because this is when probably by then, if it breaks below 100, we will actually see, the green will probably be pointing down, and perhaps we would also have a 1GT bearish signal coming out as well, and not so good, right? Not so good. So those are some of the levels that, Evelyn, maybe you can think about, and make sure to have your stop loss plan in place. All right. So that is all for Navius, NBIS, and I'll pass the time back to Joey to actually start today's bonus session.
All right, so there we have it, guys. We have covered a total of like 18 stocks today. All right, I covered Palantir, PLTR, number 16, number 17, Meta by Bervyn, and Zee just covered on Navius Group. So I hope you found it useful, guys. All right, this type of V for value, guys. If you got value so far before we even move on to the 3 bonus stock at the end, let me know, right? Type V for value if you've got value, especially if we have covered your US stock, right? Let me know, right? Especially if you have learned something a little bit on the strategy as well, all right? A little bit on the thought process, on the mindset. V for value, let me know. Thanks, Jeannie, right? Thanks for the advice on Google. Yeah, I think I covered Google, right, Jeannie? All right, good to see you here. Thanks, Jeannie. All right, thank you. V value, Michael, value, Colleen, my value as well. All right, value. Awesome, right? Thank you so much, guys, for staying and sticking with us all the way to the end. Really glad that all of you got value. Dave, good to see you here as well. Francis. Okay, so now let's go ahead to move on to the next part, and that will be the 3 bonus stock that I'd like to share with you guys today, right? So I'll do one, Bervyn and Zee will each do one, total 3. And the very first stock I would like to share with you guys today will be that of this company called Sterling infrastructure. The code is STRL. STRL. And this was one of the stocks actually we shared in our previous AMAS session as well. And I thought just want to do it again because it still looks pretty bullish, right? There are still no signs of weakness. You can see I've turned on, as I say, I mean, this is what we've been doing all along, right? We've turned on the 1GT Pro indicator in terms of the bullish and bearish signals. Pump off it, nothing, right? Turn it on, you get an opinion in 2 seconds what to do. So you can see that since April, we have bullish signals appearing. Of course, previously we got bearish, and then you want to be careful, don't want to rush, right? But we got bullish one appearing in April, another one somewhere in June, another 2 more recently in September, and we've gone higher and higher and higher. All right, from about from here all the way to now, I would say about 184% in about 6 months. I know some of you may say, well, 184%, right? But previously, when we covered it, it was 89%. You also say like that, wow, right? But now also 184, right? So it can be 300, it can be 400, we don't know. But the point about this is that we want to be, comfortable, even if it's more expensive, as long as all conditions are met, right? We get the confirmations, we continue to ride the uptrend, right? Don't just because it's expensive, then you just sit there and do nothing and then you let it go up, right? No, we must be okay with getting in on stocks that have proven themselves in an uptrend. And these are stocks exactly like that. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at what could be done right now for Sterling infrastructure. Of course, you have got in previously, 100%, great, right? You could take steps to protect your profits. But right now, I would say that we are seeing some good support around the $320. Look at this, right? So 330 was a bit of a resistance, went up, came down, all right? And finally, you got 2 bullish signals, pump. We attempted to break above 320. So now 320 has turned from a resistance to a new support level. And in fact, over the past 3 weeks, it seems like we are indeed holding above that 320 support. Maybe all the way to that 380. So the range is like 320 to 380. That is pretty much the range right now, about a $60 range, right? So I think it looks good, right? I think on any dips near to that 320 could be a good entry, especially if you see some reversal candles like what we saw previously, because it's right, rebound, right? So anything near 320, 330, 340, I'm not too sure exactly when it will dip, right? But if it does near what we call this zones, I think Z mentioned about the entry zone. It's not one price level, but it's a zone, right, over here, right? Could be 320, 325, 330, 340, but right over here, if it does dip over there, could be a good entry, right? And if we see a bullish reversal candle there, even better, another confirmation, right? So that would be what we call a horizontal support level around 320. And let me just go to turn on what we call the trailing support to see what it says, to see if there's any other confirmation we can get, all right? Let's turn it on, pump. As I say, in seconds, you turn it on, it comes out, right? So we got the trailing support that's been following Sterling infrastructure since April, right? Follow from $100 up, follow. Now become $320. In fact, it's about the same, right? Yeah. So this 320 will be what we call the horizontal support as well as the trailing support. So let me just remove these. All right. So I think 320 will be a pretty good support level for now, whereby we have been holding above it. Couple of bullish reversal candles right there, right? So 320 all the way to 380. So that could be a good entry, I think, on dips near that 320 to 350. Good entry zones, right? If we break the 380, we may even see a new bullish signal, right? It might be like this, it might be like this, pump, right? That's where targets could be revised all the way to 440, maybe to $450 as well, right? So that would be for Sterling infrastructure. Not too bad. One of the stocks that we have covered, still looks good. No bearish signal in sight. There could still be more leaks to this rally. All right, so that will be the very first bonus stock for today. Let me pass on the mic to Bervyn to cover his special bonus stock for today. Bervyn, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so I think this is the stock that I would like to cover today. It's called Power Industries. Why I'm covering this stock today is because as of yesterday, close prices have officially broken out of a resistance and have turned into a support yesterday at 330. That resistance have given way yesterday, and prices are currently or have indeed held above this level. So I think that longer term uptrend has been pretty much been intact, and that 1GT bullish signal, right? That 1GT bullish signal that have showed up in June is still pretty much playing out very, very well. Although it's a very lonesome 1GT bullish signal, just one 1GT bullish signal that one GT bullish signal have returned us about 68% so far. So I think that one GT bullish signal have started to show that 20 days moving average, that momentum carrying that 20 days moving average has started to move up as well. That 100 days moving average have sloped above that 200 days moving average in September, and most recently that 200 days moving average have started to slope up as well. So I think we are breaking new levels. There are some signs of consolidations in between as well. So we really like that it is demonstrating a very healthy uptrend. It's not just going higher and higher and higher day after day after day. Consolidate for about a month or so, move higher, about 2 weeks or so, move higher, consolidated for another 2 weeks in October before this 330 level actually gives way. I think this opens the door to the next upside target drawn to about 360, which was its high back then in November of last year as well. So I think so far for power industry is looking very good technically. Yes, I mean, if we are able to see that 360 level give way, we can potentially see another one GT bullish signal. But what I would like to see is not just tomorrow it just hit up, later tonight it just hits up higher. I would like to see it follow its previous trend, right? Just consolidating a little bit between these range at 330 to the 360 range before breaking up even higher. So where would the next target levels be drawn? I would draw it up to that, close to that $400, right? Maybe it's about 395, but let's call it $400 psychological level first, right? Psychological level $400 first is that 360 level gives way. So from this current price range, and if that momentum can continue, that represents about another 18 to 20% upside as well. So we're looking to get in for power industries. I mean, we are very close to that buy zone. Alright, we're very close to that buy zone. So potentially you can position yourself for that entry if you like, or you can have it on your watch list, and then let's see how power industries continues to perform, or it is able to hold above that newly found support over the next few weeks. All right, so I really like power industries. It will continue to be on our watch list as well. So I'll pass the time now to Z to cover the last bonus stock for today. Z, please.
All right, thank you, Bervyn. Okay, let me just share my screen over here. Okay, so the bonus stock, right, that I would like to share with you guys today will be none other than GLD, which is the gold ETF. And I think last session in the Singapore market, I shared the same thing as well. But that is listed in the Singapore Stock Exchange. Okay, this one GLD is listed in the New York Stock Exchange, but they are essentially tracking the same thing, which is gold price, right? And just to elaborate a bit more, like give you a bit of context, right, backstory about gold, right? And also just to elaborate a bit more about what Joey has actually mentioned earlier on regarding, the China export controls on the rare earth mineral, right? So I was just doing a very quick search just now, right? And according to BBC, right, they actually mentioned that the rare earth mineral actually make up a very small part of China's economy only. Very small, right? And then US go and slap 100% tariffs on China lah. And then China go and accuse US like, wow, y'all purposely go and cause panic on all this rare earth export control. But they say they're open to talk lah. So I'm not a politician, right? I'm not Donald Trump. I'm not Xi Jinping. I don't know, right? I don't know what will they do next, right? Just let them settle among themselves. But the only thing I know, right, is that if the tariffs actually really proceed and go on, right, and the tariff on all these rare earth metals and minerals, right, they are essentially going to increase the price of gold because it actually creates, economic uncertainty and inflationary fears, which essentially make gold even more attractive for investors, right? And tariffs can actually, lead to, higher import costs, cause all this inflationary pressure. And business, right, what will they do? They will actually pass the cost, right, to consumer, right? And rare earth mineral, by the way, is actually very essential for like production of a whole range of technologies, such as things like solar panels, electric cars, all the EV cars, military equipment. And according to BBC, a single fighter jet, right, the F-35 fighter jet, actually need more than 400 kg of rare earth for all of its coating, its motor, its radar. So essentially rare earth is very important, right? And China's rare earth actually accounts for about 70% of the world's supply of metal used for all the magnets in EV motors as well. So that's the reason why gold, right, has been so popular and it has been surging right now because of all of this, right? It's not just one factor, but it's multiple of factors in play and on top of the current situation that we have on hand, right? So let's talk about gold, right? Let's talk about gold and let's see where are some of the levels, right, that perhaps we can actually monitor for, right? Especially those of you, it's very popular. A lot of people has been asking us, hey, gold, can I enter gold? Is it too high now and things like that? So let's talk about it, all right? So as you can see over here, gold uptrend definitely still remain intact. That one I don't really need to talk about it. All of you guys can see. And we also have two consecutive 1GT bullish signal that is actually still playing out. And as of last night, gold actually closed, this GLD stock actually closed at 396.45, right? 396.45. And these are some of the levels, right, that we have previously drawn. Support levels drawn, and then after that resistance level, it break resistance, turn into become higher support. So all these green lines, right, were higher supports that were being found along the way when price actually proceed to where we are right now, right? So right over here, we can see that I've drawn one support over here at about 360, right? And this green box over here is one of the potential buy zones that we can actually position ourselves for entry. You can see right over here, this arrow I already also set price alert previously, right? So here, congratulations for some of you who have decided to enter upon the breakout and then pull back near the support. Then perhaps you will probably be sitting on profits already because it is 360 something, now it's 390 something, right? So this is one of the zones, right? This is one of the support level and support zones that we want to take note of. So this is where, of course, you can set some price alert, but I don't know whether price will go all the way back, right, to this 360 for you to actually enter a position, right? The other way that we can do is we turn on this trading support. So remember just now we mentioned that the trading support accounts for the stock volatility, right? And it also accounts for, when prices move up, it will continue and follow the prices as it moves up. So it's more of like a dynamic support, right? So as you can see, the trading support here, of course, price move up, right, for gold, and the trading support also moves up, right? So you can see this trading support definitely is higher than the support that we have drawn ourselves at 360, right? So near this 380. So this could be another area whereby you can potentially set some price alert. You can see right over here, I already set my price alert right over here. This is where near the 380, that's where you can set some price alert as well if prices were to retrace to potentially to this level or this buy zone for you to actually accumulate some position on dips, right? But of course, because as we all know, this is actually definitely at an all-time high, right? And all-time high, where can we set our target? So obviously the immediate target, right, will be at 400 because 400 is a psychological level, right? It's a psychological level. But if price can break and hold above the 400, this 400 essentially will be turned into what we call a support, right? And potentially this is another zone that we can take note of. But of course, like we mentioned earlier on, right, this is considered a breakout strategy. Breakout strategy consists of more risk, right? More risk. So always remember to have your stop loss plan in place, right? Because it could be like that, right? You could break out, retrace back near the support zone, and that's where potentially you can position yourself for entry, right? But potential upside targets that we are looking at, okay, sorry, let me just turn this off first, so that it's not so messy. Okay, so potential upside targets, right? If prices can break and hold above the 400, where are we looking towards, right? You ask me how high can gold price go, right? I don't know, right? I don't know how high can go, but what I can do is based on the past price action to actually have a gauge, right? To have some sort of gauge and reference based on the range that it was trading at. So you can see that this range, right, that it was trading at, right, was about about $20 range, right, for over the past couple of months. So if we were to project it up, right, then the next upside target would be maybe around 420. And of course, because price have been going up all the way and we don't see any sort of consolidation, right? I mean, of course, I hope that there will be some sort of consolidation before it break up even higher, so that the uptrend for gold will be even more sustainable. Because if it goes up very fast, there could also be potential that it can come down very fast, right? So that is the reason why we always say have a trading plan in place and to have your stop loss in place to protect your downside or even to protect your profits. If you are already, you bought somewhere early here, you are already probably sitting on some profits, right? Remember to protect your profits with stop loss orders as well. Okay, so I hope that gives you guys something to consider and to think about to see whether gold is it still something that you prefer, you like. If you like, you can add it to your watch list and continue to monitor some of the levels as mentioned here. All right, so yeah, with that, I'm so sorry that I think we cannot cover all the stocks that we have today. I think I still see quite a lot of comments in the section, but don't worry, right? Tomorrow we also got AMAS session like what Joey has mentioned during our live book launch. So remember to come for that, right? The link is in the chat. You guys can register for that, and we hope that we can cover more of your stocks tomorrow. All right, so back over to you, Joey.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, so I think Z has covered the final bonus stock for today, right? So just a quick recap, right? The 3 bonus stocks are from me. The first one, Sterling Infrastructure, STRL. All right, Bervyn covered Powell Industry, and finally Z covered on gold, right? On gold. So these are the 3 bonus stocks you can put in your watch list. I think looks not too bad. All right, we could potentially see even more upside. Now let's go ahead to talk very quickly, guys. As I say, we are not able to cover all the stocks today, but tomorrow what we have done is that we have earmarked about 2 hours to talk about the stocks that you guys are asking about as well. All right, and that will be what we call an AMAS session, right? So let me just go to remove the banner right there. All right, yeah. So this is the page, right? Click on the link in the chat. We have placed the link in the chat right over here, and that's where I say, guys, do join us, because this is where the One Good Trend Secrets book launch will be, right? Brand new book, more than 200 over pages of secrets. Everything will be reviewed, all right? And that's where I will share with you guys as to how to get the book. And not only that, right? We'll talk about the strategy. We'll do some live case studies, demo. We'll break it all down. And I'll show you guys the 7-step framework and checklist as well before we look at the One Good Trend Pro indicator. And we look at some real life case study as well. So I'm sure you get a lot of value. And not only that, there'll be bonuses, right? We have prepared like more than $7,000 worth of live only bonuses that will be only reviewed tomorrow if you join us live. So make sure you join us live. All right. And yeah, thank you so much, Sing Long, for being a top fan today. In fact, I'm quite surprised, right? I didn't know that this top fan thing. All right. I'm not too sure how you become a top fan, but maybe you have commented and place a lot of messages in the chat and come like participating and engaging. So thank you so much. Right. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Anything to say, Bervyn, for tomorrow? All right. But before we go live and see everybody tomorrow.
All right. So tomorrow, like Joey said, it's full 6 hours action-packed event. All right. So it's the first time, of course, we are doing this. So we're a little bit nervous. We are hoping to see as many of you guys there tomorrow as possible as well. And if you would like to invite your friends, just hop on board, get to know Joey, get to know us a little bit better as well. They are also in the market. All right. I think that is where you can invite them to join Joey's book launch as well. So I think this book took I think was it more than a year for Joey to write as well. So I think definitely worth the read. Right? Worth the read.
Yep. Type C for coming, guys. Type C for coming, guys. If you have already secured your spot, you've registered. Type C for coming. Let us call you out and acknowledge you. Type C for coming, guys. If you have already registered your spot for tomorrow, One Good Trend Secrets live launch, 18 October, right, 10 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. Right, you get a lot of value. All right, and I can't wait to share with you guys what's in here and all the secrets all over here. All right, type C for coming. If you guys are coming, let me know. All right, coming. Very good. So we only have limited copies, guys. So you want to turn up live and show up and get the live only bonuses, things that I don't usually share to the public to live. All right, so make sure you join us. All right, Kenneth, this is online. All right, we are live. We're going live on YouTube. Team, just place the link in the chat again. Kenneth, the link is right in the chat. That's where you'll come to this page right over here. All right, click on it, register, and become like got a live studio, right, to do it properly, professionally. There'll be like 4 cameras, there'll be like 5 monitors. Forgive me if I'm a bit lost looking at everywhere, right? But it'll be something exciting, something fun, and I can't wait to show you guys what I've prepared for you guys. All right, so coming, Catherine, awesome, Colleen, Dave, you're coming. So that's it, guys. The link is right in chat. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 10 a.m. sharp. We'll be starting the One Good Trend Secrets book launch. Take care. All right. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.